This is not a valid menu option. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. Next Wednesday will be that 201st day of the year, and for the latest 201 sighting, it's Anthony Fauci making his return from the COVID illness on the 201st day of his age, the anniversary of Bill Gates establishing his Gavi Alliance. We talked about that earlier today. But what's really on my mind is still the Georgia Guidestones. We've been doing a lot of work on the destruction 1 week ago, July 6th. And we've had a lot of important discoveries. And I think one of the best comments left about it was by a gentleman who goes by the name Golden ID Codes. He pointed out that the man who coined the term utopia with his book, Sir Thomas More, who was part of the Protestant Reformation, he died in history July 6th, 1535. That was a year after the Jesuits came into existence in 1534. But the man who coined the term utopia died July 6th. And the reason that matters is because recently there was the show put out in the UK in 2013 and then remade in 2020 by Jeff Bezos and Amazon called Utopia, about billionaires who have the plan to get the world's population down to 500 million. And of course, the plan in Utopia is to use the media, which they control, to create fear of a pandemic so that people go out and get vaccinated and the vaccine does the work. That's the show Utopia. And again, that 500 million mark, that's exactly what was written on the Georgia Guidestones. The first rule etched on the stones was to maintain the Earth's population at 500 million. And again, if you look up where that figure comes from, it's the believed population of the Earth at the end of the age of agriculture. They say before man discovered agriculture, there was about 10 million people on Earth. And after the age of agriculture, it grew rapidly to 500 million. And then in the industrial age, it rapidly grew to where we are today, 7.5 billion, they say. And again, you do the math on that. If there is a real plan to get the Earth's population back down to 500 million, where it was centuries ago, if the Earth's population today is 7.5 billion, that means 14 out of 15 people would have to die. 14 out of 15 would have to die. And again, you start to think about that. If this is a real plan, how can they get rid of 14 out of 15 living people? I mean, that is a lot of death. And, you know, historically, war is something that's gotten rid of a lot of people. So is disease and famine. And it could be a combination of all those things. But looking in the clues, remember the pseudonym on the Georgia Guidestones was R.C. Christian, which has a gematria of 76, like how it came down on 7/6 on George W. Bush's 76th birthday. Remember that infamous Skull and Bone Society. And a lot of people think that R.C. Christian was a pseudonym for Robert Carter Cook, who was a eugenicist. And remember, the eugenics movement began in the 19th century, like how the stones were 19 feet tall, and they did come down on the 19 date numerology. But when they went up, it was just days before Robert Carter Cook's 82nd birthday. And they were established on the 82nd day of the year. And they're known as America's Stonehenge, which has a gematria of 82. Well, so does the word utopia. Utopia is also 82. So is Armageddon 82. And the man in our lifetime that took the ideas of Robert Carter Cook and put them into fruition was Bill Gates Sr., the father of Bill Gates. Robert Carter Cook thought the Earth's population should be reduced medically with birth control. And, of course, Planned Parenthood, which Bill Gates' father was a big part of, they got a lot of birth control out there, and they got a lot of abortions out there. But anyhow, the Gates family operates out of Seattle, and Seattle also equals 82. And if you use numerology, it also equals 19, like how the eugenics movement began in the 19th century. But again, the Guidestones debuted March 22nd, 1980, the 82nd day of the leap year. There's this connection with Utopia. In Gematria, Utopia is 82, so is Armageddon, so is America's Stonehenge. And in Gematria, so is COVID. Remember, Merck got their COVID pill approved by the FDA on the date with 82 numerology, and there's a giant 82 on the side of the pill. And, of course, we predicted at the start of 2020 that we would see the COVID lockdowns go into effect on March 22nd, the 82nd day of the leap year, which was the anniversary of the Guidestones being revealed. And that did happen from New York to all over the nation. So, I mean, these are clues, but perhaps a greater clue than the number 82 is the number 92. In Gematria, Georgia Guidestones equal 92, and Robert C. Cook died at age 92. And the weapon, the big bomb, the one that was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I mean, that's kind of been the scare for a lot of our lifetime, that there could be a nuclear war that could wipe out so many major cities at once, and billions of people could be turned to ash in the blink of an eye. Those big bombs were partly made out of uranium, which is also the thing that's used to power nuclear power plants, uranium, which is atomic number 92. So atomic number 92 uranium, used in bombs, used in nuclear energy. In Gematria, Georgia Guidestones equals 92. Robert C. Cook, again, who is likely R.C. Christian, he died at age 92. By the way, if you write out Robert Christian Cook, that equals 187. The Guidestones came down on the 187th day of the year, a number that's associated with homicide. And, with regards to the big bombs, Japan signed their surrender on 9/2 after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, August 6th, August 9th. They formally announced that they were surrendering on August 15th, the Jesuit order's birthday, and then they signed their surrender on September 2nd, 9/2. And, here in the U.S., the Oklahoma City Federal Building blew up at 9:02 a.m., That's just like how the first plane that was shown hitting the World Trade Center, if you weren't alive when 9/11 happened, they didn't have footage at first of the first plane hitting the tower at 8:46. That footage, I think, either came out the next day or late September 11th, but all day they were showing footage of the second plane hitting the tower in Manhattan, and that plane was hitting right at 9:02 a.m. And if you watch that footage, you'll see it hits at 9:02, there's the big explosion, and then it ticks to 9:03. But remember, in Gematria, Manhattan equals 92, and so does uranium. And with regards to Timothy McVeigh, he was put to death on June 11th, 92 days before 9/11 in Manhattan, when the Manhattan Project is what was used to develop the bomb. And Oppenheimer, who's the father of the bomb, he had the quote, well, how's it go? Is it I am become death? It's something like that, but it's from the Hindu text. And that's interesting because we know that the day before the Guidestones came down, CERN got fired up. And CERN has the Shiva statue, which comes from the Hindu spirituality. And Shiva's known as the destroyer. And at CERN you have Shiva. And then the next day, the stone tablet that got destroyed was that with the Hindi writing on it, going with the Hindu faith. And then the Georgia Guidestones seemingly have this connection to 92, which is clearly connected to the history of destruction from big bombs that have uranium inside, something that could, from what we told, be used to wipe out the population very quickly. But again, you have at CERN the Hindi statue taken out, and then again you just have this historical connection with Oppenheimer also quoting from the Hindu faith. So I put out a short video on this morning and said, if you guys have other observations on this, please chime in. And you guys had some really great observations. Somebody pointed out that it's a common belief that the Apostle John wrote the book of Revelation when he was 92 years old. These are things people speculate on, but what's interesting is in Gematria, the book of Revelation equals 92. And again, if you're not familiar with that book, it's the concluding book of the Bible, which ends with fire raining from the sky and the destruction of earth. And I think it was last week's TFR episode. It was either that or a call-in show I did since then, where it could have been the Sunday night show. Everything's just a blur to me. But anyway, I know I recently had somebody call in and tell me that, they're a Christian and they don't need to do anything because their Bible tells them that the earth's going to be destroyed and all the believers will be saved by Jesus. So that's all he needs to do. And, for his sake, I hope he's right for his sake. But ultimately, what I do think is that the reason so many people have that belief installed in their head, in their programming, is so they'll stand there and watch the destruction of the earth come about and do absolutely nothing to stop what was preventable from these psychopaths who've etched up their plans in stone. And not only are they psychopaths, they are brilliant people because they're able to develop the kind of technology that they do. Somebody pointed out that, 9/11 in numerology, 11 is 1 + 1 is 2. So 9/11 in a way is 92, like how it was in Manhattan. Jason D pointed out the Jesuit motto. The Jesuit motto ad Merum de Gloriam is interesting because the Jesuits spell it two different ways, and it might just be to get the different number combinations on it, but ad Merum de Gloriam does have the 92 in it, just like Abrahamic religions, like Georgia Guidestones, like the Book of Revelation, like the World Trade Center. Doesn't that make sense? I don't know. One of them that he wrote out, I don't know. I think that one's cheating. The 11th of September, I don't know about that one. In his list, he said Operation Noble Eagle equals 92. Well, I'm going to look into what Operation Noble Eagle is because I don't know that one off the top of my head. But very good comment. Ron Walker, always good for historical observation, said Marty McFloyd joins Doc Brown on the date of September 2nd, 9/2 in 1885. We know Back to the Future's full of it. People did refer to September 11th as the day we'll never forget. If you read out day we'll never forget, it equals 92. If you read out September the 11th, that does equal 92. I suppose that's the better way to put it. Other people point out the word stones alone equals 92 to go with the Georgia Guidestones and the Robert C. Cook gentleman dying at 92. The word fear is 92. So Operation Cumulus, he points out, is 92. That's the original weather warfare mission that did also took place on August 15th, the Jesuit Order's birthday. Geneva, Switzerland's another 92. Interesting. So anyway, so some people came up with some great observations building on that 92 list. But yeah, again, I'm just, the more we look at this, the more stones we turn over, the more sense it all makes. But the one that's really just got me floored is, again, the show Utopia. Just the fact they'd even remake that show in the time of the pandemic shows how arrogant these people are about their plans and how they know no one's really paying attention. Everyone's asleep at the wheel. But then to find out the man who coined the term Utopia died the same day in history that the Georgia Guidestones died, July 6th. And, the one other thing to say about the distance, Thomas More, who coined Utopia, he died July 6th, 1535. From his death anniversary to the Guidestones coming down is 487 years later, which is the 93rd prime number. And remember, that's a special number, 93. They say the sun is 93 million miles away. All of these rituals in tribute to the sun. And if you don't know, the Georgia Guidestones were a sundial. They said there was a 7/8 inch hole drilled in it that was lined up with the sun, and there was a calendar written down, and it was so clever that each day, as the light poked through that little hole, the light lit up the space on the written out calendar that was the day of the year. So obviously some intelligent people behind the Georgia Guidestones, but again, 93 is a number of the sun. And with regards to all this connecting to Illuminati, remember, they came down 201 days after the Pope's birthday. Order of Illuminati equals 201, and when you use numerology, it equals 93. 487th anniversary of Mr. Utopia's death, the 93rd prime. And remember last year what we were talking about with 487? Last year on the Jesuits' 487th birthday, the plus 93 international dialing code, Afghanistan, their government fell. And, of course, we went in there after 2 towers became 0, which eventually became 1, which is now named 1 World Trade Center, which equals 93, to go with the 93 World Trade Center bombing, and the fact that the movie Falling Down came out the day of the 93 World Trade Center bombing. So, anyhow, really great find again to Golden ID codes. Brilliant researcher, always making really great observations. And, yeah, so tonight, the question is, do you think the Illuminati really does plan to take the Earth's population back down to 500 million? Again, when I listen to what Bill Gates said, and let's not forget his name, William Henry Gates, 201, in his 2010 TED Talk, 2010, he talked about how we need to reduce population and how we can do it. But he said we only need to reduce it 10 to 15%. That was the figure he brought in his presentation. Nowhere near what's on the Georgia Guidestones. And the Clade X simulation, exactly 666 days before the pandemic was declared, in that simulation, slightly under 1 billion people are wiped out, which is still nowhere near the Georgia Guidestones. So what do you see? What do you feel? Do you detect that they really are going to take it to this 500 million number? And if so, how soon? And if you do think they're going to do it, how do you think it's going to be achieved? Is it just the obvious way? Famine, war, disease, possibly big bombs, or do you see something else? And I'm curious how many people think this threat is real. And to me, if you want to know my opinion, honestly, and I don't mean to persuade other people, but to me, it seems like, yeah, the threat probably is real. You know, they've gone to great lengths to put this in our face. And the only thing I'm debating on is, do they really intend to go that low, 500 million? So we'll take calls all night tonight. And again, if you do phone in, try to be efficient with your call. Try to answer the question, and try not to be on the line for, more than 3 minutes, because every week there's a lot of people left on hold. And if you can move through efficiently, we'll get through a lot of voices. I think the best shows are always where we hear from a lot of people. And with that said, let's go out to 616, first in line. Well, as soon as I went to him, they hung up. All right, Rambo's next in line, but we'll save him for after the break. Let's go out to 562. 562, you're on. Well, 562 seems to have a case of the silent phone. Let's try George. George in 707.
Hello, Zach. Hello. To answer your question is, I don't know. I may have done much. I've looked at the 500 million number, maybe yes. And if that's the case, when is their target date? I've read and heard 2030, so you're talking less than 8 years from now. But I've also said they might push it back to 2050. A couple other, or if I can just mention one other thing, this has to do with the assassination or the alleged assassination of the first Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. Now, I know I'm not going to address it, Gematria, because I know that's your bailiwick. However, his birthday, did you mention the fact that his birthday is September 21st, 1954?
I know that we definitely looked at his birthday. What did you make of September 21st, 1954?
Okay, well, I'll have to defer to you on that. What I can do in terms of the Roman nexus, his wife / widow, Aki, or however you pronounce her name, she went to Sacred Heart Vocational High School in Tokyo, and she went to Sacred Heart College in Tokyo. He is or was a member of the World Economic Forum, and he had at least 2 papal audiences. In 2014, he went to the Vatican, and in 2019, he received Pope Francis. Now, as I said, was he actually killed last week? I'm not sure. I mean, if you look at the footage, this is according to James Corbett, it looks very Jack Ruby and Lee Harvey Oswald-esque. It looks like a high school production.
It looks like a total hoax if you look into it. The guy even came out early with the gun, and they had to shoo him back. And I mean, in reality, his bodyguards are just going to let him walk out with the gun and then just shoo him back. They're not going to tackle him right there and make sure he doesn't. I mean, it's a total hoax. And for people who don't know, it's all by the numbers, and it's synced up with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln in Gematria equals 84, like Jesuit, like how the Superior General Adolfo Nicholas just died at age 84 in Japan by the numbers. But anyhow, from Lincoln's death anniversary to Shinzo Abe's is 84 days later. And Shinzo Abe also equals 144 in Gematria, like Jesuit order. Also, a year ago, he was supposedly shot on July 8th in Japan, but it was still July 7th in the West. And it was a year to the day of us hearing about the assassination of the Haiti leader, whose name also equaled 144. And again, that's a reminder that Bobby Kennedy was dead at 1:44 in the morning, and his brother JFK was dead 144 days from meeting with the Pope. It's obvious that it's more of the same old Jesuit circus. And again, just watching this stuff play out in real time makes me, I mean, I wasn't even here, but it just makes me think more and more that the assassinations of the Kennedys were likely hoaxes as well, and it was all just to send a message and to teach the populace to essentially duck their head and not speak out against authority. But yeah, the Abe thing, we got the footage if you want to look into it, of them shooing back the gunman because he came out a little bit early. It's an obvious hoax.
Okay, so and I think you probably talked about this. I know there's Abe. Now that's the Japanese pronunciation of it. Mm-hmm. But the standard English pronunciation would be Abe. Abraham Lincoln.
Like Abe Lincoln, right. That's why it's synced up with Abe Lincoln. Same spelling.
Okay, however, there is a catch. Now, for what it's worth, Abe was the longest-serving prime minister of Japan. He did 2 stints, 2006, 2007, and from 2012 to 2020. Now, for what it's worth, the longest-serving prime minister in Canada is Pierre Trudeau, Justin's purported father, although there's debate as to who his actual dad is. And so we know that both Pierre and Justin were Jesuit pawns, as is Abe. Now, it's interesting, you're talking about religion, and I don't want to get a debate here. Only about 1% of people in Japan profess to be Christian of any type. It has historically been a Buddhist country, and they have other traditions there, like Shintoism and things like that. However, how is it that the wife of the prime minister or the former prime minister went to 2 different Catholic institutions?
I don't know.
Geez, so you had to wonder who really runs Japan.
Right. Well, that big sun on their flag gives me a good idea of who really runs it, so.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to pick this up next week.
Sure. I just want to make an observation. I had to go back and look at what day Shinzo Abe met with the Pope. And funny enough, it was November 25th. And the reason that stands out to me is because that's the day in history that Fidel Castro died, who was a Jesuit. And Fidel Castro died exactly 433 days after shaking hands with the Pope, which is the 84th prime number. And then 433 days after his death, his son died, supposedly from suicide, which again is the 84th prime number, and Jesuit equals 84, like we were just talking about with Abe. And Pope Francis, he's got the 84 birth numerology. When Castro died, it was also 59 days after September 27th. Well, that's just like how Abe met with the Pope 59 days after September 27th. Again, that's the day the Jesuits are recognized by Roman history, and Pope Francis equals 59, like how Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year. And of course, Castro became the leader of Cuba back in 1959. So I'm going to have to think about this more. Cuba, Japan, islands, Jesuit influence. He met with the Pope on the 3-year anniversary of the death of Fidel Castro, so I'm sure there's something more with that.
Okay, and one other thing. If I can mention one other thing, Abe was born in 1954, and I know you mentioned that. That was the year the first Godzilla movie came out. Now, I know that's a stretch, but are you familiar with the story, the original story of Godzilla?
Maybe not. What is it?
Well, he's basically a sea lizard that is contaminated by nuclear radiation, and he comes back. And so, as a metaphor, Godzilla is supposed to be the United States. So, in the original series, he basically wreaks havoc on Japan because of the nuclear radiation. So, there's all sorts of. I need to look more into Godzilla. But it's like it's probably one of their biggest cultural icons, at least in the U.S. or Japanese icons.
All right, we got the commercial, George. I appreciate it. We'll be right back, everybody.
Don't wait until they tell you you are ready. Get in there. The world might say you are not allowed to yet. I waited a long time out in the world before I gave myself permission to fail. Please, don't even bother asking. Don't bother telling the world you are ready. Show it. Do it. Raise the rest of your life to meet you. Don't search for defining moments because they will never come. The moments that define you have already happened, and they will already happen again.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Travis Cook, America's Evil Genius, here to invite you to join us every Tuesday afternoon here on Truth Frequency Radio. No, on our show you will not see a bunch of three-piece suits or a cocktail party, and you certainly won't see a bunch of inside the Beltway banter. But you will see eye-gouging, crotch-kicking, no-holds-barred political discussion, the likes of which you won't see anywhere else in media. America's Evil Genius. We come to you every Tuesday from the outskirts of war-torn St. Louis, Missouri, where there's always a good race rider sex scandal just around the corner. Join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and noon on the left coast right here on TFRLive.com. America's Evil Genius, Travis Cook, on TruthFrequencyRadio.com.
is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker, and appreciate George's call. It is now Rambo's time to shine, and let's get out to him right now. Rambo?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Hey, I'm targeting Saturday to do a live stream because I want to do a live stream for patrons, and I think Saturday would be a good day for me. So for now, it's Saturday at 7 Eastern. That's what I'm looking at for patrons, a live stream.
Okay,
it's
very
our first
cool.
ever.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so many people have asked about this request about Aaron Rodgers tattoo that came out, and so. Yeah, this is what I'm going to decode. It's the tattoo of Aaron Rodgers, which many people have asked about, obviously because Aaron Rodgers himself won't tell you what it's about. He said he'll tell people later, he probably won't. And very often when they do tell you, it's not, it has some truth to it, but it's not necessarily the actual symbolism, and it's not always, there's always more to it than what they say, if they tell you at all. So who knows if he probably does have a very good idea of what it means. So I'll do my best to say what it means based on whatever knowledge I have. So the title of my decode is The Esoteric Meaning of Aaron Rodgers Tattoo, and why it was released on July 6th. So on July 6th of 2022. Aaron Rodgers, most people are familiar with Aaron Rodgers. If they're not, he's a football player from the National Football League. He's a quarterback. Quarterback is the star position. And, he's a superstar. And these people absorb the psychic energy and consciousness of the masses of people. That's why they're so important. They're not just randomly chosen. People may believe that, but people are chosen for many reasons, and he's kind of somebody chosen for that position, and there's so much symbolism around him, even without the tattoo, that I'll go into here.
Rambo,
and he referred to...
But before you get into this, I just want to chime in. Again, we're talking about the Georgia Guidestones here today, what happened July 6th, as Rambo's about to get into. He unveiled this tattoo on July 6th. And again, remember, Aaron Rodgers got his start under Brett Favre, and Brett Favre was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons down there by the Georgia Guidestones before he was traded to the Green Bay Packers. And there's a big connection between Wisconsin and Georgia through a lot of things. Again, the Atlanta Braves started out in Wisconsin. Of course, Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And you know that face in Georgia, Stacey Abrams, she's from Wisconsin. There's a big relationship with Wisconsin and Georgia. They're the only two states out of the 50 to have Gematria 44, Georgia and Wisconsin. And again, we're in the time of Cancer, the 44 astrological sign, which is the fourth sign, like Georgia's the fourth state. And if I'm not mistaken, the Packers right now have won 4 Super Bowls. But again, just the Georgia-Wisconsin thing, and as you're about to get into his tattoo, it's of Leo, the lion, the sun. The Guidestones were a sundial. He revealed it in the time of Cancer, ruled by the moon and the sun. 19. I don't know if you saw this week, but we discovered something called the Callipic cycle, the 76-year cycle, and how that's believed to be the most perfect alignment between the sun and the moon every 76 years, like how they came down on 7/6. So I just scanned your post real quick to see if you talked about the Georgia-Wisconsin thing. I didn't see that in there, so I wanted to get that in since that's where we left off. But I won't interrupt anymore, Rambo. You got the floor now. So.
No, that's all right. I'm sure you will. Feel free.
Well, I'll try not to. I know it can be bad. I'm going to try not to.
No, but like, if it adds to what I'm saying, then like the Wisconsin thing, that's relevant to this. I didn't add it, so I mean, if it adds, if I haven't, if it can connect more dots, then it is helpful. So yeah. Also, you're talking about the number 4. They've won 4 Super Bowls. That was Brett Favre's jersey number. But so yeah, so Rodgers unveils this tattoo, very esoteric, clearly, and he wouldn't say what it is. And so the date, I'll get the date, July 6th, why he did. And again, he's chosen for that position. Now he already has some talent. Not just anyone can just say, oh, you can be a star quarterback. Obviously, he deserves some credit. I mean, so the central element here to the tattoo is it's based on the tarot card tradition and on astrology. Astrology is part of tarot. And the symbols of the tarot actually originated in ancient Egypt, but they were adopted by Western mystery traditions, and they were upheld and continued through secret societies in Europe. They go back to ancient Egypt. And so it's a very ancient tradition. And so the tarot card that aligns with, or what the tattoo is based on, is the Wheel of Fortune. These are the first 22 cards of the tarot deck. They're called the Major Arcana, or they're called Trump cards. And this is number 10. Card number 10 is Wheel of Fortune, and this is what the tattoo is based on. And it's not just the tattoo, but Rodgers himself is part of the Wheel of Fortune. It applies to him. And so it starts with birthdays. Everything starts with birthdays. Aaron Rodgers was born December 2nd in 1983. That makes him a Sagittarius. And one thing I've always stressed with astrology, or just your basic tropical zodiac, I find it's less about the sign itself than it is about the ruling planets. Yes, very often it is about the sign, but always look up the ruling planets, because that's where it really expands. You don't really need to be that knowledgeable about astrology. You can just look up what the ruling planet is, because the ruling planet will also align with Greco-Roman mythology, and then you can connect more dots that way. A person is seen as a anthropomorphism of their ruling planet. So somebody like Aaron Rodgers, they see him as an anthropomorphism of Jupiter. So he is Jupiter, basically, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And the Wheel of Fortune card actually represents the planet Jupiter. In tarot, there's a Major Arcana Trump card for each planet. And sometimes they may not seem to add up. You may wonder, why does this card represent whatever planet? But the card for the planet Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune. So right off the bat there, you can identify Aaron Rodgers with the tarot, the Wheel of Fortune. And so the depictions on on Aaron Rodgers' tattoo, at the top, it's in the middle and at the top, of course, because he's a Sagittarius, is the glyph. That's another name for the symbol for the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. It's an arrow, or it looks like a spear with a line through it. So it's almost like a cross/arrow. That's a glyph for Sagittarius, and that's what he has at the top of his tattoo. It's at the top and in the center. That's because that's what he identifies with. And another thing about the planet Jupiter that rules Sagittarius is it has a 12-year orbital cycle. It means in Earth years, it takes the planet Jupiter 12 years to complete one revolution around the sun. So Jupiter is associated with cycles because the number 12 is a cycle number, as in a clock. One complete revolution, the clock is 12 hours, as with a calendar. One complete, cycle in the calendar is 12 months. So 12 is very much a cycle number, and it's a Jupiter number because that's one revolution for Jupiter around the sun. And he appropriately, Aaron Rodgers, wears jersey number 12. That's a very Jovian number. So he's heavily steeped in even before this tattoo, he was already had Jupiter symbolism on him. And if you look at the Wheel of Fortune, the tarot card, so the Wheel of Fortune tarot card, Jupiter is considered to rule over, you could say, the realm of luck. that's what I call fortune. That's why it's associated with Jupiter, because Jupiter is fortune, and fortune could be good fortune, bad fortune. But that's what you could say. If there's any such thing as a god of gamblers, if someone's a gambler, if there's a deity they had to appeal to, a planet, it would be Jupiter. That's the realm of Jupiter. Gambling and luck. That's Jupiter and fortune. And Gematria reveals that. If you look at Jupiter and fortune, it's a super match in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. So what the tattoo depicts, there's an X. You can see there's a circle with the 2 lions, but in between the lions, in the center of the circle, is an X. That X is, in astrology, is called the fixed cross. The fixed cross is made up of what in astrology is the fixed signs. The fixed signs are the signs that occur in the middle of each season. So Taurus is in the middle of spring, Leo is in the middle of summer, Scorpio is in the middle of the fall, and Aquarius is in the middle of winter. So they form the fixed cross, which is, it's actually considered the most important. I've talked about the 3 crosses of the zodiac. I've been talking about the cardinal cross with regards to many things. The upcoming World Cup, the Super Bowl at the home of the Cardinals, the Georgia Guidestones. But this is the fixed cross, which is actually considered the most important cross. It's actually called the Greater Cross, or the Grand Cross, or the Galactic Cross. So it's considered the most important, and I'll give examples of how important it is, because it's all over the Bible and Christian iconography, and I'll show examples of the importance of that. So Taurus is a bull, or an ox. Leo is a lion. Aquarius is an angel. The angel represents Aquarius. Sometimes Aquarius is a man pouring a water vessel out, but it's also an angel. It's just an angel with a book, a gospel, which is the Gospel of Matthew. Each of them represents a gospel. That's an angel. That represents Aquarius. And Scorpio can also be an eagle or a phoenix. So Scorpio has many symbols. It's a scorpion, but it's also an eagle because it is, I guess in the past, the boundary between constellations changed over the years. And there's a constellation called Aquila, which means eagle, which I guess in the past might have been considered part of Scorpio. So as a result, an eagle can also represent Scorpio, just to avoid confusion. And so those are the symbols you see on the tarot card, the Wheel of Fortune. They're also on Aaron Rodgers' tattoo. It's the fixed cross signs. And at the top of his tattoo, well, Sagittarius is in the middle because that's his sign. To the left, from our perspective, is Scorpio. It looks like an M with a little devil tail on it with a little arrow. That's actually a Scorpio glyph. And to the right is the zigzag water pattern of Aquarius. Because some people looked at that and said, well, it should go in order. After Scorpio is Sagittarius. After Sagittarius should be Capricorn. But Capricorn is not relevant here. This is about the Wheel of Fortune. It's about the fixed cross, which represents Jupiter, which was Sagittarius. So that's all that matters here. It's the 4 signs of the fixed cross and Sagittarius. But there's one other sign that counts here as well, because directly opposite Sagittarius, even though it's not indicated, is Gemini. So at the bottom of the circle is Gemini, even though it's not indicated because it's directly opposite Sagittarius. So those are the only signs that apply to this tattoo. So in case some people are wondering, where is Capricorn? It's just not relevant to this particular message that they're conveying. And I show the gematria lineup between Wheel of Fortune 7461 cross 7461, and it's the fixed cross, and that's represented by an X. In heraldry, an X is called a saltire. The most famous one is the flag of Scotland, St. Andrew's Cross, but even the Confederate flag, that's called a saltire. Jamaica has a saltire, has a golden saltire. So that's called that's what the X is, and it lines up with astrology, it's the fixed cross. So some examples in mainstream popular culture. When you say the Wheel of Fortune, what most people think, almost everybody will think of, the longest running game show in American television history, the Wheel, that's what everyone will think. But does that have anything to do with the tarot? I mean, would they use tarot tradition in that? Well, yes. Their famous hosts are Pat Sajak and Vanna White. Pat Sajak is a Scorpio. Vanna White, no. Oh, yeah, Pat Sajak is a Scorpio. Vanna White is an Aquarius. So, yes, they did line it up with the Wheel of Fortune card. I'm talking about people in position. They're picked for their birthdays. They did not just pick randomly. And they represent, the symbols on the Wheel of Fortune. Aquarius and Scorpio. And I remember I said the symbol for Aquarius is the angel. Vanna White's father, his middle name is Angel. So more Aquarius symbolism. And also, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. The Wheel of Fortune card represents Jupiter. It's the god of luck. If the game show, it's about luck. Well, that's the realm of Jupiter. So that's astrology. It's all about astrology. Well, Jupiter is Peter. St. Peter is Jupiter. Peter. And Vanna White was actually married to somebody named Peter, which is a reference to Jupiter. She was married to somebody named George Santo Pietro, which means St. Peter. And that lines up with her being part of the symbolism of she's a human personification of the Wheel of Fortune card itself. So that's the Jupiter influence with her. She was actually married to somebody named St. Peter. The fixed cross, which is Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, the angel, lion, eagle, and bull, have been spoken about in the Bible in Ezekiel. It's called the Ezekiel vision. That's in Ezekiel 1:10. And in Ezekiel 1:10, quote, this is King James Bible, quote, as for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, and they four had the face of an ox on the left side. They four also had the face of an eagle. That's Ezekiel's vision. He's describing the fixed cross of the zodiac. And another quote from Ezekiel's vision, which lines up, the tarot card is based partially on the biblical vision of Ezekiel. Said, and everyone had four faces, everyone had four wings. They all had wings. That's from the Bible, that's in the tarot card. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces. And you see the wheel. It's the Wheel of Fortune. So the book of Ezekiel talks about the wheel as well. And another passage from Ezekiel is, the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, which a beryl has different colors, but one of those is like this, the color of the Wheel of Fortune. And they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was, as it were, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. And you can see that in the tarot card. It's actually a wheel inside a wheel inside a wheel. There are actually three wheels, one inside each other. And so you can see how that lines up with Ezekiel's vision from the book of Ezekiel in the Bible. And the fixed cross is also described in Revelations. Revelations chapter 4, verse 7. Again, this is King James Version. And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast was like a calf, and the third beast had the face of a man. And the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. Again, we know what that is. That's the fixed cross. This is what Aaron Rodgers has on his arm. And this is to illustrate the importance of this. This is considered the most important of the three crosses. And just another pop culture reference is Madonna calls it the material girl, because the fixed cross represents the material universe. And in Madonna's personal logo, she has that M with that X on it. That X is St. Andrew's cross, the fixed cross, which represents the material universe, and she's the material girl. And so at the bottom of Aaron Rodgers' tattoo, I've been talking about the birth theme that's going on with abortion, and they made a big deal about Rihanna's birth. And there's also, around the world, there's actually a decline in births. So births, whether it's abortion being legalized or being, it's not, whatever, whether it's enabling more births or preventing more births or the depopulation, that is a main theme in the world right now. So birth in general is, and water has to do with it. The amniotic fluid of the mother's womb. And even science says that life evolved from the ocean. So life starts from water, and all particles are dependent on hydrogen. Hydrogen is the mother particle. If there's no hydrogen, there's nothing else. So that's why water is considered the source of matter, and it's a feminine element. So in the bottom of his tattoo, you see water. I've talked a lot about water. Well, water's at the bottom of his tattoo. below the water is, it looks like a Sephir. What they have in Kabbalah is on the tree of life is Sephir. They're actually spheres, supposed to be three-dimensional, and they emanate. So there's something below the water, like something out of the Kabbalah. It's emanating. It appears to be emanating life or a spirit or a soul into the water, upwards, and then from the water, it manifests into the X, which is the material world. So that's what this is. It starts at the bottom. It's emanating from a source. Life is injected into the water, and from water, which is the source of matter, there is a manifestation into the material world, that's what the fixed cross is. So that's what that is. And Aaron Rodgers, his rising sign, which is the sign on the eastern horizon at the time you're born, is Taurus. And another important part of astrology is your moon sign. It's the sign that the moon was in when you were born, and his moon sign is Scorpio. And Taurus Scorpio, that's one axis of the fixed cross. So he's aligned with the fixed cross in that way as well with his birth chart. Now I said that opposite Sagittarius, which he's indicated Sagittarius, is Gemini. In astrology, you have what we call gateway signs. There's Golden Gate, Silver Gate. The Golden Gate is the portal from the material world, the finite world, into the spirit world, the infinite world. It's seen as a gateway to immortality. So it's going out, that's a Golden Gate. Sagittarius is a Golden Gate sign. Opposite Sagittarius is Gemini. Gemini is the Silver Gate. The Silver Gate is going from the spirit world. They call it the outer darkness. And you manifest through the portal of the Silver Gate into the material world. So Gemini is a Silver Gate sign. And that's what that water, so that water sign where he has it in his tattoo is actually in Gemini because it's opposite Sagittarius. And that relates to a tarot card, which is the High Priestess, because Gemini is the twins, High Priestess has the twin symbols, and behind the High Priestess is water. So you can see how this High Priestess also lines up with his tattoo. It's Gemini, which it's not written Gemini, but it is Gemini, and there's water, Gemini's twins. And in ancient Egypt, Isis rules the Silver Gate. And this is Isis in the High Priestess card. And it says Torah in her lap. And Torah and Tarot are also the same as Rota, which means rotate, wheel. So you can see what they have in common. It's all the anagram. Torah, Tarot, Rota means rotate, means wheel. And she's holding that in her lap, and it's also on the Wheel of Fortune. And again, Rota, I talked about cycles. Jupiter is about cycles. It's a 12-year cycle. So number 12 is a cycle number, which Aaron Rodgers wears. So you can see how Rota applies to Aaron Rodgers through the number 12 and through Jupiter. And in between another connection of Aaron Rodgers with water is that water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 212, which is his birthday, which is the 2nd of December. So his birthday numbers line up just with water in that respect. Also between the Golden Gate, I talk about Sagittarius is the Golden Gate. That's the portal from the material world into the spirit world. In between the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco and the Bay Bridge, there's a monument called Cupid's Arrow, but it's closer to the Bay Bridge. It's in between Golden Gate, so it's not, it would be more, I would think, well, they know what they're doing. I don't fully understand their rituals. I would think it would be closer to the Golden Gate Bridge, but it is between the two. And it is a symbol of Sagittarius, and Golden Gate is a Sagittarius is a Golden Gate. So this monument in San Francisco, which is a Sagittarius symbol, which is not far from the Golden Gate Bridge, it lines up with the symbolism here. Look at Golden Gate and Jupiter in Gematria. They both have a double alignment. Then you have the all-seeing eye, which you can't miss, and that's Sirius. Freemasonry depicts a blazing star of Sirius behind the eye. So Sirius is the eye in the sky, the song by the Alan Parsons Project that the Chicago Bulls adopted. Again, Bulls, Taurus. It's about Sirius. And Michael Jordan, the star Sirius was in Cancer. It's permanently in Cancer on the eastern horizon when Michael Jordan was born. That's why he's lined up with Sirius. So Sirius here is the all-seeing eye. And so the tropical zodiac is 12 signs in a 360-degree circle. So each sign is 30 degrees. Now to find where Sirius is in Cancer, it's at 14 degrees of Cancer. So whenever you look at a zodiacal map, whether something's lined up in Cancer or if Cancer's on the ascendant or wherever Cancer is, you look if there's anything on 14 degrees because that means it's lined up with Sirius. That's where you get the expression as Sirius as Cancer, because the star Sirius is in Cancer. Well, on July 6, 2022, the sun was at 14 degrees of Cancer, which means the sun and Sirius were in conjunction perfectly. And that's actually why they made the United States independence July 4th, for this reason, because there was a conjunction with the sun and Sirius. It's based on Sirius. And Sirius is called the sun behind the sun. So this is a Sirius ritual as well. Because of the location of Sirius in conjunction with the sun, they chose July 6th, which is also 6th July, which is 6-7, and in Gematria, Sirius comes to 67. And this is why they chose this date, because you can see the tattoo, Sirius is represented on the tattoo in the form of the all-seeing eye. And as far as Cancer is concerned...
Rainbow, quick commercial break, we'll be right back.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move.
When you have a great melody, a song lasts
Forever.
instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smart car, smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
What's up? It is time for us to adopt a new company brand to encompass everything that we do, to reflect who we are and what we hope to build. I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta. We're going to talk about a metaverse. Meta. I was supposed to be the robot. Meta. This could be very positive for our society. I hope that you will join us. You're going to be able to do almost anything you can imagine. This isn't about spending more time with screens. It's about making the time that we always spend better. We're starting to see a lot of these technologies. Next, there are avatars. And that's how we're going to represent ourselves in the metaverse. All right, perfect. I thought I was supposed to be the robot. You'll see the facial expressions. You get to decide when you want to be with other people. When you want to block someone from appearing in your space, or when you want to take a break and teleport to a private bubble. Meta. We're going to talk about a metaverse. Meta. I thought I was supposed to be the robot. Meta. This could be very positive for our society. Meta. I hope that you will join us. I want to share what we imagine is possible. This is not the way that we were meant to use technology. Too realistic. That's a glimpse of the kinds of experiences that you might have in the metaverse. You're going to really feel like you're there with other people. I also want to be upfront about the fact that there's a ton that we just don't know yet. So we're going to approach this with humility and openness. We're going to talk about a metaverse. I thought I was supposed to be the robot. This could be very positive for our society.
You must unite what has been set aside.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, True Seeker. We got 2 hours left. We'll be taking your calls all night, but right now it's Rambo in the middle of another decode, and let's get back out to him right now. What's up, Rambo?
So 112 here is a major number. In Gematria, fixed cross is 122. It's a number that's been coming up in a lot of the recent events. It's 122. You just can't get away from it. The fixed cross is also known as St. Patrick's Saltire. If you abbreviate Saint, ST, that's what the X is, the Saltire, on the flag of Northern Ireland. It's in the Union Jack of Great Britain. That red X on the flag of Great Britain, that's St. Patrick's Saltire, which is Northern Ireland, which is not the same as the Republic of Ireland. The St. Patrick's Saltire sums to 122. No, and it also sums to 67 as well, which is 6th July. But it's mostly commonly recognized as St. Andrew's Cross. And in the Agrippa, which is the Jewish cipher or Latin cipher, St. Andrew, with Saint abbreviated, is 1220, which numerology is 122. And Aaron Rodgers' birthday is 122, December 2nd, which is, again, this is manifesting a lot. Then, whether this means anything or not as far as the Super Bowl, well, 122 is the Super Bowl as well. It's on 12th February, so it manifests there too. And another meaning besides Sirius for the all-seeing eye is the mind's eye. And if you take mind's eye, it has a value of 122 as well, which is Aaron Rodgers' birthday, which is December 2nd. And so the major part of that tattoo, the body part of that tattoo, is separated into two halves. There's a black half and a white half. And this can also correspond to the pillars that I talked about with the High Priestess card. There's a black pillar and a white pillar. That's Boaz and Jachin, with the water behind it. So that ties in perfectly. And so he has one half black, one half white. And in each half, there's a lion. The lion in the dark half is roaring. The lion in the light half is subdued. And this goes along the lines of what you talked about with the art of war, where they say if you have weakness, you have to project yourself as being stronger than you really are. So the lion, which is the sun in the darkness, has to project more. So that's along those lines. That's what sort of symbolism of. When the lion is strongest, it's in the light, in the daytime. In that situation, you don't want to show your full strength. So you want to be more subdued. So don't look as powerful as you really are, and always look more powerful than you are when you feel weak. And the roaring lion in the dark and the subdued lion in the light is along those lines. There's also another thing, the snake in the Wheel of Fortune. It also could represent. There's a tropical zodiac, which is a popular Western zodiac. But there's another zodiac which is just based on the astronomy of the zodiac signs and the size of the constellations. They aren't all the same size; they're different sizes, and there are 13 signs. Well, the 13th zodiac sign is called Ophiuchus, or Serpentius. That's another name for Ophiuchus. That's the 13th zodiac, and most people who are Sagittarius would fall under the 13th zodiac in the sidereal system, and that symbol is the serpent is called Serpentius, and that could be another connection of Aaron Rodgers to the Wheel of Fortune card. And there's also this fox or dog-like figure, which also can relate to Anubis or Sirius, the underworld, which is another connection to Sirius, which again he has represented with that all-seeing eye. That's Sirius. And again, that's why he chose. I don't know if he chose it or someone told him to do it. July 6th, which is 6 July, 6-7, because of the Sirius Sun conjunction and the gematria of Sirius 67, like the date. And then you see the dog figure. Sirius is the dog star in this tarot symbolism, which is at the heart of his tattoo. Now, I'll do this later. I can do it on the live stream later. It's Ezekiel's vision that describes this Wheel of Fortune in detail, with the wings, the clouds, the wheel within the wheel, all the animals and the angel. Well, there's an NFL player named Ezekiel Elliott, and he too is lined up esoterically with the Wheel of Fortune, and I can demonstrate that too. So yeah, that's it for today. There are a lot of requests to decode the Aaron Rodgers tattoo. I did look at some decodes, and I'm surprised maybe I just missed them. But yeah, it's not something that many people. Yeah, I didn't see much on it, so I'm glad I could just could contribute what I can. If anyone else can add to that, that'd be great. But yeah, that's it. That's the esoteric meaning of the famous tattoo by Aaron Rodgers and why he released it on July 6th.
Okay. Yeah, the first thing that stood out to me about the tattoo was the 18 sun rays coming off it, because it's going to be Aaron Rodgers' 18th season, and Gematria's sun is 18. And I didn't hear you talk a lot about Leo, but obviously Leo's part of the tattoo with the lion, right?
Yeah, it's part of the fixed cross, yeah.
Okay.
Leo's part of so the Leo Aquarius is one axis of the fixed cross.
Yeah, so I was thinking about the star quarterbacks in the NFL that are Leos, and you got Tom Brady born on August 3rd, and Dak Prescott is born on International Tiger Day, July 29th. Do you see any
I think
go ahead.
Kyler Murray of the Cardinals is a Leo.
He's a Leo as well, okay. I forget what his birthday is off the top of my head. Okay. Yeah, in light of all the rituals they do with Tom Brady, I was thinking somehow Tom Brady's got to be a part of that tattoo since he's a Leo. And then, okay, so you're saying that they revealed it in the time of Sirius, okay.
Yeah, when Sirius is in conjunction with the sun, in a perfect conjunction with the sun.
Okay, that makes sense. And then again,
so from Earth's perspective.
Go ahead.
So okay, from Earth's perspective, it's a straight line of Earth, the sun, and then Sirius direct. So all three make a perfectly straight line. That's a conjunction from Earth's perspective.
I see. Okay, and then that's interesting how Sirius is 67, the 19th prime, because again, the moon's on the 19-year cycle, the sun card's the 19th tarot card, and then if you look into this Calippic cycle, it says that you get the most perfect alignment between the moon and the sun every 76 years, 4 cycles of 19. So I was thinking, okay, in the time of Cancer ruled by the moon, Leo, the sun, there's some reason to this, and then, okay, everything else you brought in. So I'm going to have to go back and listen to it again, because the astrology stuff, numbers stick in my head. The astrology stuff, I always get confused, but I do appreciate it.
The moon and the sun, the moon and the sun also line up with the twin pillars of Boaz and Jachin. So Boaz is the moon, Jachin's the sun.
Okay.
So that ties into tarot.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate all the hard work, Rambo. Thank you again, and keep up the good work. Again, everybody, if you're not subscribed to his channel yet, The Truth Codes on YouTube. He's doing really great work.
Okay. Thanks. I appreciate it. Again.
All right. Have a good night, Rambo. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Let's try out 559. You're next in line. 559, California. 559 going once. All right, must just be listening. Let's go out to 302. What's up, 302?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good for the most part. I found out today that my grandpa's in the hospital for his prostate cancer, so that kind of bummed me out, but I guess that's life. You know, life can take a turn at any moment.
Sure.
But to answer your question, yeah, I think that the Illuminati, they do want the population to be, you know, what they want it to be as far as relating to the Guidestones. Because why else would it be on there? You know, like there's a reason why it's on there. So, but I remember looking at one of your posts about movies filmed in Highland out of Chicago, and I found the movie that was filmed there, and the name of the movie is called Risky Business.
Yeah, that's one of them.
And it stars. I'm sorry?
That's one of the movies that was filmed there.
Yeah, it was Risky Business. And from the day that it was released, August 5th, 1983, up until the shooting was 38 years, and death equals 38.
Interesting.
The date numerology of the movie, August 5th, 1983, has 34, which is murder, and also has the 115 coding. And we know that Freemasons equals 115, as is the word killing. Murder equals 83. Murder equals 34. Then the motion picture that developed the movie, Warner Brothers has the gematria of 83. Risky Business has the 107 coding, like shooting. And I went online to look up the location, look up the locations in the movie, and there's some interesting locations in the movie. There is one location where it takes place at Niles East High School, which is located on 7700 Lincoln Avenue. And as we know, Chicago, Illinois, land of Lincoln. And there's some other interesting scenes in the movie. You know, I didn't really go too far into details and like watching it, but I just went on IMDb just to look at some of the locations in the movie, and some of them do seem kind of interesting. But that's all I really had, you know, just that, and to answer your question.
All right, yeah, great research. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right, friend. You have a good night.
Thank you.
Again, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is another big film filmed in that neighborhood. There's been several. Ferris Bueller's another 201, too. Let's go out to 803. 803, you're on.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hey, Zach.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, you talking about the Georgia Guidestones and 500 million. You saying how that might happen. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think it's crazy that they for the population, they got rid of the Roe v. Wade thing, but might be another reason for that. So could be family or other mechanisms, or who knows, maybe the jail. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay.
And also, let's see. Have you heard of the YouTuber called Black Balloon?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he got some pretty interesting videos. I think it's called BLAKK Balloon. He's real good at analyzing the esoteric and cult beliefs of the elite. He did one video about young Dolph and Egyptian Freemasonry. And in that video, it was talking about, I think he showed in one part that there was actually 6 members that helped constitute the Illuminati order. There was, I think, 4 known and 2 secret. I don't know if it was Benjamin Franklin. I think you go to History of the Rights, APR, MM, and FLC.
Okay.
You have to do a search. And then if you do the search, it should be the first thing up there, and it should show that article.
Okay, tell me what to type in one more time.
History of the Rights, RITES, APRMM, and FLC.
APRM and FLC?
There's 2 M's. APR, MM, and FLC. History of the Rights, APR, MM, and FLC.
Okay. So the website comes up.
It should be a scroll thing. And then it should show a section where they talked about the 6 members that constituted the Illuminati order.
Okay, interesting. I'll definitely look more into this.
Yeah, and he also had a video about Eyes Wide Shut and how Stanley Kubrick could have most likely been responsible for the filming the moon landing. So that was pretty neat.
Okay. Very cool.
He does some good work. And the last thing, do you have a Rumble account?
I forget if I do or not. There are some accounts that I definitely created that I don't use that much. It's possible.
Yeah, I think there's a way to sync your YouTube channel with a Rumble account.
Okay.
That way you could back up your videos. I heard one of your channels is on 2 strikes. So.
Yeah, it happens a lot. So, all right, I'll look into that. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
All right, you have a good night. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Yeah, you too. Okay, all right, good piece of research right there. If you want to check out the website he's talking about, if you're watching us on the stream on YouTube, I will put the link for this site in the chat right now. So, about an hour and 20 minutes into the show, if you're going back trying to find that later. Let's go out to Michigan. Michigan, you're on. Sound like Michigan watching something else. Let's go out to 720. 720, you're on. (720) for some reason just got disconnected. Sorry about that. Let's go out to 347.
Hello.
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 Yeah, how you doing?
What's up, Zach?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
September 11th's getting close. Yeah.
Huh?
I said September 11th's getting close.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was talking to Rambo a couple days ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been tuning in every night, but sometimes you don't get to me, so.
Sorry about that. I've been doing a bad job of getting through the calls in recent weeks, so.
No, it's all good. There's nothing wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? People calling in,
Indeed.
So,
Indeed.
all about, all about getting out the message, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, somebody sent me a video today talking about a nuclear hit in New York City. Yeah, you hear about that?
Yeah, I did a video on that. That was July 11th, the day of the 7/11 shootings in L.A. And, you know, Trump, some years back, he got made fun of because he confused the convenience store 7-Eleven with the tragic date of September 11th, and he did that in Buffalo, New York. And remember, Buffalo and L.A., they had the mass shootings 117 days before the NFL season opener, which will be between those two teams. So there's something bigger going on here. And, yeah, for people who missed that video, check it out.
Yeah, the guy was talking about that's the reason why they blew up the Georgia Guidestones. So, you know.
Right.
I was saying, Mike, you could have checked out, find out what's going on, you know, with that. What is the reason for that? You were saying going to be a nuclear hit in New York.
Huh.
So,
interesting.
Okay, stay tuned.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I notice I'm seeing the Patreon. I used to pay $11 every month, but I'm seeing it been coming out of my account anymore.
Well, I think a lot of people have been unsubscribed because the Patreon support's way down ever since I went to Oklahoma City April. So.
No, I don't know. It was canceled. I can't figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe that's what they did. Maybe they didn't like that I went to Oklahoma City because the support's been way down ever since I went there. So.
Yeah, but then you say they canceled it out without you knowing. Because I was, you know, every time I was trying to get to you after what was going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's interesting. I have a feeling that might have happened with a lot of other people too.
Yeah, because I was very surprised to me. And I look at my account every month. They always show you that it's, you know, $11 come out for that, you know. And like I think about 2 months now, I haven't seen nothing come out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's okay. I appreciate all the time you did support it. If you want to go back, you're welcome to try to sign up. But yeah, something's definitely happened.
I definitely do go back. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, funny it is, I take out that account and I've never gambled on anything yet. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta set up an account and start, because of my friends and say, why you always telling me about who's gonna win and who's gonna, you know, and you never gamble. I say, you know.
Well, I really do appreciate that, and yeah, whatever happened to you, I think it happened to a lot of people. So thanks for giving me the heads up.
Yeah. Because that was what I'm trying to get to you to say. But I called your number a couple of times and, you know, busy. Can't be reached, so, you know. Say, I know you're busy. So, you know. That was it.
All right, friend. Well, it's always great to hear your voice. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know the funny...
Go ahead.
You know the funny thing about it? I keep, every time I talk to you, I keep forgetting to tell her that me and Peter Touch was cousin too.
Funny. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to get back on the Patreon, you know? See what's up.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm here listening as usual, you know?
I appreciate that you're here pretty much every week. Thank you very much.
You're not pretty every week.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So.
Yeah. All right. Keep in touch.
All right, friend. You have a good night.
Yeah, cool.
All right,
yeah, you too.
Shout out to that gentleman on the phone, and also shout out to Sean in Tennessee. Sean in Tennessee was a great leader for our gathering in Oklahoma City this past April. He just sent me this this article right here. Lawfirms.com is the site. It says CDC members own more than 50 patents connected to vaccinations. Does anyone want to guess what the number is? The clue is more than 50. CDC members own more than 50 patents connected to vaccinations. So, Sean in his text, he said, you won't be surprised by the number in this one. And I had to just scroll down through the article, and I was thinking it's got to be 56, and there it is. In total, 56 individual patents were found to be owned or shared by one or more members of the ACIP committee or other committees within the CDC. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? That founder of the CDC, Dr. Joseph Mountain, his name is 201 as well. 201. That's the number for light in Hebrew. 56, that's the number for light in English. Event 201, span of 56 days later, the first confirmed case of COVID. Then they backed it up to November 17th after that. But very interesting. And here, you know what? We got a commercial break that's supposed to come up any second, but when we come back, we'll be going out to 276, then 917, then 347, then 646, then 319, then 951, then 443, and then 720. And you know what? That's the end of the line right now. So I know that we'll definitely get through all those calls because we have an hour and a half of show left. If you do want to be part of the show tonight, make sure you dial into 213-233-3998. And I just realized that I forgot to put up the number. Be right back, True Seeker.
All my friends made around the same amount of money. I read the book and I said, okay, instead of acting like I make 60K, I'm gonna act like I make 100K. And I'm gonna do the things necessary to make the 100K. 6 months later, 120K. 6 months later, 180K. 6 months later, $250,000. It changed the way I was thinking about things, and because I was thinking about things differently, I operated differently. I walked differently. I dressed differently. I talked differently. I got around different people because I was ready for success. I was thinking ahead. I was thinking positive, and I was dreaming big, dreaming of being this colossal size influence in people's lives. And I'm on that journey now, piece by piece, day by day.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favors, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We got an hour and a half left. Again, we're taking your calls the rest of the way. And if you do want to phone in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. And if you are watching on YouTube, that number is up on the screen. This week we're on GematriaEffectNews 25. We were starting to get an audience on GematriaEffectNews 24. Videos were finally starting to get some views again, and then just like that, struck with a suspension. And then a second strike, and Google and their censorship is something else. You know, what's really annoying is the week that I was getting some traction after the Guidestones videos, they went back and struck a video from the middle of December of last year, and there wasn't any misinformation in that video, but you know, they took it down for misinformation, and then they gave another strike for the video I did on the veggie burger that tastes like human meat, where really all I pointed out in that was it's 2022, the year of Soylent Green, and that news was big news on June 28th, 628, in 2 Kings 628, and the Bible's about cannibalism. And, you know, that video got more views than any other video on this channel, and it didn't get a lot of views. It got like 20-some thousand views, and then it got struck and deleted for medical misinformation. It's like, how is this misinformation? Showing that the headline came out corresponding with a Bible verse about cannibalism? I mean, anyway. We're here now on Gematria Effect News 25. Again, make sure you're following all the Gematria Effect News channels, because I'm having to shuffle. When I'm getting strikes, I'm shuffling to the next channel so I don't get 3 strikes and get all the content deleted. It's the game I've been playing for this year for the purpose of trying to keep the content up. With that said, let's get out to 276. 276, you're on. 276. All right, I think he's burying a body in the background. Let's go out to 917. What's up, 917?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Zach. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. It did something weird, the interruption. Sorry about that.
Oh, is this Angel? This must be Angel.
It is Angel.
Okay. Yeah, what's going on?
Message. Hey, did you happen to see my post? I think you missed it. Your post, let me see here. The Twitter post, it's something, it was the one, the Trump mix-up between 7-Eleven and 9/11. And then, well, you know, the whole thing with the time of the 117th Congress. It was like 2 days ago, I think.
Uh-huh.
Did you see what I posted? It reminded me right away of the song. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. There was a Beyonce song. It's like, it has to be like a good, like, I think it's more like 8 or 9 years old. It's called 7-Eleven.
Okay.
But there's some interesting numbers in it. Like when she starts in the beginning, it looks like a cell phone camera video. Like, it's supposed to look very candid, but when she starts in the beginning, she is dancing on a hotel balcony, and she's wearing the sweater and some booty shorts dancing around, and her sweater says kale.
Kale?
I just dropped it in the chat. Kale, like the vegetable, Kale. I just dropped the Twitter post in the chat. Click on my link.
Oh. All right, hold on. I was just leaking through Twitter to find the link. Let's see. Okay, I got it right here.
So then I have 3 snippets from the Gematrinator, but there's like the whole song is repetitious. It just sounds like nonsense. But there's a certain verse she keeps saying over and over again. Man, it feels like rolling dice. She keeps saying rolling dice, rolling dice. Rolling dice has a 56 in it. So that kale thing and the rolling dice thing, they're Society of Jesus numbers. So I thought you might want to take a look at this video. And then also, toward the end of the video, she's wearing a crown and she's wearing a black and white checkerboard sweater. But the brand on the sweater says Playboy. Playboy is 33, like Beyonce is 33. So I think there's something with this video. Kinfolk had taken a look at it. He did a brief mention of it in the video, but I thought, if you watch the video, you might find it interesting, find some other correlations.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out. I appreciate that. Good eyes.
No worries. So just real quick, Sarah actually reached out to me because we were chatting recently, and I said, I would love to do a Uvalde follow-up. Since the media circus is gone, I want to see, if the school is still roped off and all that, since they're about to tear it down, sometime here soon. So I'm going to meet up with her. We're going to be doing a Uvalde follow-up this weekend, so stay tuned for that. We got to do a group call with Trey. By the way, Trey's been trying to reach out to you, like on this call. Like, I guess he was on queue. He said he got knocked off somehow, so I don't know if you see his number pop up. He said he wanted to call him to TFR. But Trey is coming out. Let me see. Our next, our meetup with the Texas crew, it's 2 weeks from this weekend. So we're going to do July 30th. We'll be in Austin at the Capitol building. And then we'll be in downtown Dallas the 31st. So you guys support RPM Trey. Subscribe to his channel, look at his videos. If you guys want to help him and his cousin are making the 13-hour drive out here, I'm doing hotels and all that. His Cash App is dropped. I think Nathan's been dropping it in the chat. But yeah, so just wanted to drop all that and say hi.
All right. I appreciate all that you're doing, Angel. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Zach. Take care. Bye.
All right. Have a good night. Okay. I just sent Trey a text message in case he does want to call in. He definitely has my number. I don't see anything from him, but let's see. Where was I at? 646, I think. 646?
Hey, Zach, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. So I tried to call in last week, but I realized it probably wasn't the best time because of the Georgia Guidestones and Stern. It was really crazy. So I remember last week you were saying with the green sky, I think in North Dakota or Nebraska? I forgot.
South Dakota.
South Dakota, yeah. It felt like it was like a Disney movie. Well, I actually fell down a rabbit hole and made a connect. And this might be very interesting. And it ties in probably everything. Even what Rambo has been saying with the green and the heart chakra. So I don't know if you watch any of the Marvel movies, but I know Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It came out on May 6th, and that was like the creme de la creme of Disney movies in terms of the occult. So in the movie, I don't mean to spoil it for everyone, that, the main antagonist is the Scarlet Witch, and red is a very big theme going on with that movie because of, the Scarlet Witch. So, and also in the movie, there was a overemphasis of motherhood, right? And that actually ties into what Rambo was saying. And there was a lot of mentions of motherhood, Roe v. Wade in the news at the same time this movie came out. So I did a little digging, and I have been seeing mainstream media green and red, green and red, green and red, green and red, green and red. So I was like, okay, this has to definitely tie in with Disney somehow because that's the main colors, right? I've been seeing in the news, especially green with Uvalde. So I don't know if you know that also a lot of celebrities and politicians, they've been dressing in the scarlet color, not necessarily red, but scarlet, that particular color. I know Michelle Obama, she wore a scarlet, a dark red scarlet outfit on the inauguration day with Joe Biden. And even Cardi B, she dressed specifically as the Scarlet Witch. So the director of the film is Sam Raimi, and he's really known, like everyone, I think mostly everyone knows him for the Evil Dead movies, right? But I had to go back and just look up other filmography that he did. And lo and behold, he also directed the movie Oz, the Great and Powerful, which, I know the Wizard of Oz, like the main color theme is green with the Emerald City and whatnot. So this one really threw me aback, really, because I looked it up, and Oz, the Great and Powerful had 2 release dates in the United States, March 8th, and then guess what? February 14th, Valentine's Day. So I was just like, whoa. So then I looked it up even further, and on the February 14th premiere date, it premiered at the El Capitan Theater in California. I'm from New York, so I really don't know much about California, but I know it's like one of the big, El Capitan is like one of the big movie theaters. So I looked at El Capitan movie theater, and it's actually, I think it was part of the Hollywood Masonic Temple. And it was actually the Hollywood Masonic Temple and the El Capitan Theater were actually purchased by Disney a couple of decades ago, I want to say back in the 90s. I'm not in front of my computer right now, but I thought that was very interesting that it tied into basically all the red and green that we're seeing in the news. The green with Uvalde, it ties into like Rambo's videos with the green and the hot chocolate that we've been seeing with like the Oscars and whatnot. Because I know with the Oscar ceremony, like Jada was dressed in green. And yeah, I saw Rambo's video, so I have notes on it, but it's not in front of me right now. And another thing too, Beyonce. So I know this is a lot, but like Beyonce, she was on the cover of American Vogue recently, and she was dressed in red. And I think she was on top of a red horse. I don't remember, but I think she was on top of a red horse, and a lot of people online were saying, oh, she's signaling one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. But another thing that I read online was that Beyonce, on the cover of that Vogue magazine, the O in her name was like signed differently, like it had a line through it. So I think I read somewhere that it kind of resembled the Greek letter phi. Phi, not pi. It was phi, the golden ratio. So, and then another thing too, with her album that just came out, I think it's Break My Soul. She's also on another horse, but it's a clear horse, right? So some people were saying, oh, maybe it's a pale horse from Revelation. But then other people saying, oh, no, it kind of resembles like the water horse that Elsa in Frozen 2, she rides. I never saw Frozen, so I don't know. But I saw a clip on YouTube. And, yeah, the horse that Beyonce is on, it does look like a clear horse, not necessarily a pale horse. So I was wondering if the red horse and the clear horse are more symbolism of like of the elements and not necessarily revelation, or maybe both. I'm not quite sure. So I wanted to call in about that because I was like, oh my God, you did mention like it feels like we're in a Disney movie, and that's like the connect with Disney. And then I know it's a lot. I know with the Georgia Guidestones, I know to segue into the Georgia Guidestones real quick, there was a stone, I think online forums, they were saying there was a stone that talked about there was a time capsule buried underneath the stones, and I guess whoever was trying to get to that time capsule And then an article was released saying, oh, there's no time capsule under the Georgia Guidestones. So I thought that was really weird. And I know with a lot of these like Jesuit Masonic monuments, they do have time capsules buried underneath, because I think a few months ago you even talked about this. The monument where Robert E. Lee actually had a time capsule underneath, and I was like, okay, so if a monument dedicated to Robert E. Lee had a time capsule, why would the Georgia Guidestone not have it, when all the numbers in the gematria point to, like, definitely this was a Masonic Jesuit operation that built the Georgia Guidestone. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I know it's a lot, but thank you for taking my call.
Well, I appreciate all that information. Thank you. You have a good night.
No problem. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right, you take care. All right, next up, the man himself, RPM Trey Vietnam. If you guys aren't following his channel, definitely do. Very intelligent man who will connect with a lot of people in this community. And here he is.
Yo, what up, Zach?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Feeling good.
That's good.
Been trying to work out a little bit and all that. That carrier get heavy, so trying to keep it nice and tight, keep it right.
How much weight is all that gear?
It's like close to like, it's not that much. It's like 25, 30 pounds maybe, about 30 pounds.
Okay, but sure.
It get heavy.
Yeah, when you're carrying it for all that time, it adds up. Indeed.
Yeah. Well, when I get out there the first couple of minutes, I feel like I could do like 20 push-ups, no problem, in all that gear. But after about 2 hours, man, it's like, it's heavy, boy.
Sure. Okay. Well, what's on your mind tonight? What made you want to call in?
Well, of course, I always want to salute you for everything you're doing, laying it down once again. You slay every video. I was convinced early on in your work when I seen it that, this was the truth, man. It's just undeniable, and I love it. I'm just like, I'm waiting for them to do enough bullshit and for people to catch on to gematria enough people to put two and two together and just realize that we in a war. Like, shit's crazy. It's super crazy, and people are so distracted and entertained by like, music and films and stuff. So you steal their thunder when they realize that all of these heroes that they had are all fake. They're all doing something very, strange to the human existence. That's heartbreaking. I was just talking to my cousin. Y'all check out RPM Gabos on Instagram. That's my cousin. That's my sidekick. He always got my back. Me and him was just talking the other day about how heartbreaking it is to look at Tupac and be like, man, you not what you claim you was, man, about nothing. You were just part of the game. And it hurts because we talk about Tupac songs that we like, and it's like, I still like the song, but fuck all that bullshit, though.
Right.
It's hard for people. It's heartbreaking. So, I get it, but people got to snap out of it, man. We got shit to do, man. So Angel Baby called in, she spilled the beans, so she told the whole story. Basically, me and my cousin gonna be down in Austin, and on the 30th, and then we're gonna be at the Capitol building in Austin, and then we're gonna be in Dallas on Sunday.
Okay.
On the 31st. So we're gonna be down there trying to get involved in whatever anybody want to talk about, but we're gonna throw that gematria at their ass like a bucket of cold water. That's the shit they need. So anytime anybody say anything, it's gonna be get a gun and learn this gematria. Y'all taking too fucking long.
Truly, and that's awesome. I really appreciate that you guys are doing that. And again, for all the people who are going out to that in Texas, very good. I mean, we need to start doing this all throughout the nation. And again, one of these days I'm going to have to make the road trip to some other places, because that's kind of how it came together. We did the Oklahoma City thing. People got to meet there. The Dallas thing, people got to meet. But there has to be more community building like this and more activities to get more engagement in society that is mostly asleep. So I know you'll have a big impact, Trey, and I appreciate you and your cousin for doing that. And was there anything else you want to say tonight?
Nah, man, just keep doing your thing, man. For people who are new to this or trying to catch on, y'all got to understand, and I'm glad to hear Zach say it so plainly as he has been doing in the past couple of weeks. But this is not something that we think we see or that Zach thinks that he sees. We have discovered some shit that somebody already put together. It's the beautiful English language in this fucking calendar, and they doing something to you. Just pay attention to it. You know, just pay attention. Even for all y'all out there that can't understand, like, just accept the information as a game. Just put it together in your mind as a plot to a movie. Whatever you got to do to just not be biased to how crazy it sounds, but just listen to what the fucking Gematria is doing. If you just listen to it, you're going to come to a conclusion that something is eerie and wrong about how often this shit happens. Easily to call out, easily to recognize once it's passed, but damn sure. This is just too simple for people to be letting get past, and we got to fucking snap out of this shit like ASAP. Fuck, please, y'all. Damn.
Indeed. I 100% agree, and I appreciate your enthusiasm on the issue. And again, thanks again for heading out there for the community. So I look forward to your guys' gathering.
We got nothing better to do, man. So yeah, we'll be out there.
All right, Trey. Thank you to you and your cousin, and have a good night, friend.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, take care. But by the way, I should have brought it up while he was still on the stream, but his last live stream that he did, at least the last one that I saw, while they were out on the corner, there was a shooting just blocks away that you could hear, and then somebody went flying down the road, and their window was all shot up, and it was a reminder. He's saying, listen, you live in an age where you want to have one of these protection pieces because you never know what's going to happen next, especially with all the stuff that's being threatened our way right now. So he had a very, very good example in real time in his stream. Again, RPM Trey Vietnam. Check out his channel. And 443, thank you for your patience. Maryland?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm actually calling from Delaware. As a matter of fact, I've kind of been unplugged for the last couple of weeks on a little bit of R&R, and I'm 100 feet from the ocean right now. And I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping that by now we would have already seen the Alien show. Supposedly, aliens like the ocean, but have not seen that yet. I've just been kind of being a foot soldier with all this stuff going on and having difficulty getting through to seemingly zombies, I guess. I mean, it just seems like people are more on the attack mode when they sense the truth is coming their way.
Indeed.
Do you get the same feeling?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I've been just kind of playing music, what I call awakening music. For example, the Police, ABCs, the Murder by Numbers. They're telling us information. There's a couple other songs by the Police. Michael Jackson, They Don't Really Care About Us. And then the new one that I know that I just became attracted to was an old time Biggie Smalls, which is the 10 Crack Commandments, which is now Hunter Biden's theme song.
Funny. Okay.
So just my own little unique way of wakening people up. So the quote from Mark Twain is also something that I've been kind of enlightened to, is where he says it's easier to fool people than to convince people they've been fooled.
Somebody must have known you were going to say that, because they just wrote that in the chat right before you said it. But yeah, that quote is so true. So.
I mean, is there kind of a way that we can do this in a way that we're seemingly spreading the word, but trying to fool people to play their own game?
Yeah, fool them into the truth. Well, that's a thought. I'd have to think about how that one might work. So,
I mean, I've been rattling my brain for the last couple of weeks. And of course, I've been on vacation, kind of unplugged. But yeah, there's got to be if people are fooled into believing a lie, there's got to be a way we can fool them into believing the truth.
I hear the logic. So okay, I have to think about that one.
But otherwise, yeah, I think it's actually going to take much more than that for a lot of people to wake up. And I'm in an area of the country that seemingly has a lot of money, people that are well educated, have great jobs, great careers, but they're still zombies.
Yeah, I know those types.
So sorry I don't have much in the way of gematria. I've been kind of unplugged throughout this whole couple of weeks, but we'll get back to the grind next week.
All right, friend. Appreciate the call.
I'm taking a break from a little baseball and other B codes that I've been doing. So
okay,
unwinding.
Indeed.
Great talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you too. You have a good night.
You too.
Take care. All right. So something's going on over here on TFR. It happened in recent weeks. It's like the whole show is off 2 minutes. Like it starting at 6 sharp. It's starting at 6:02. But on our end, the timers are still all off. And technically, right now we're supposed to be in the commercial. So hopefully we get this fixed because it makes it like I don't want to go to another caller right now when it says we're in commercial because I know the commercial is going to start anytime soon. But obviously we're not in commercial yet. So anyway. When we come back, we are going out to 720, then 347, then 936, then 951, then 706, then 202, 616, 951. We'll be right back.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
America last. Democrats are vicious. None of this is true. Who would have thought that within 33 days we'd be bombing the Middle East? You can French kiss the guy next to you, yelling abolish the police. With your help, we will take back the House. We will win the Senate, and then a Republican president will make a triumphant return. Who will that be? Donald Trump. Who will that be? President Trump. Who will that be? Donald Trump. Who will that be? President Trump. We take great pride in our country. We teach the truth about history, and we reject left-wing lunacy. Put the mask on. That's not funny. Put the mask on. Because ain't nobody having fun while the socialists are in charge. With your help, we will take back the House. We will win the Senate, and then a Republican president will make a triumphant return. Who will that be? Donald Trump. Who will that be? President Trump. Who will that be? Donald Trump. Who will that be? President Trump. By the way, in Washington, D.C., Bernie is wearing mittens. Hasbro now wants a gender-neutral Mr. Potato Head.
Fortunately,
Is yet to come. 3, 2, 1.
who will that be?
Donald Trump.
Who will that be?
President Trump.
Who will that be?
Donald Trump.
Who will that be?
President Trump.
Wherever you are, make it Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We are taking your calls the rest of the way. And next up is 720. You're on.
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, do you have that buck moon over there tonight as well? Because I'm here in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I think it's on the 13th, which is tonight, which is the biggest supermoon of the year.
Uh-huh.
So I think there's a big significance of that. I think a lot about nuclear war. And also, I think coming July 15th and 17th, you're going to see the moon close to Saturn, I think on the 15th, and the moon will be close to Jupiter on the 17th. And in Hebrew, those dates are called between the straits as well. And it's so funny how Biden's over in Israel today, and they're talking about maybe dividing the city of Jerusalem and also the land. So that's Zechariah 14 or 12 and Joel 3. So that could be also coming to pass too. Even though the Knesset collapsed over there, so I don't think it will go through no matter what he says. But that also is coming this week as well.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, good observation.
So you have the buck mode tonight, like a bullet point, and then you got the between the straits on the 15th and 17th with the moon close to Saturn and then Jupiter. Because I think Rambo is close to astrology and everything. So yeah, but this is the biggest moon of the year. And I think even if people watch that iTech Go, they talk about this buck moon as a Pacific like turning point. And it's on there like two or three times within that video. And, I think they're just using definitely that dark energy or subplot matter. There's in the Bible, when you read beast, this means the government. Or read towers, of course, another term for government in Hebrew. And basically, so, these governments are going to collapse as we want to bring the new one as well, and an anthem Messiah. So me being Hebrew, I do on the other side, the main plot, so I'd celebrate like Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Feast of Tabernacles, or in the Day of the Lord. That's another thing maybe people don't know, because I think you have a lot of Christians on here. But every time you see in your Bible, like in that day, my Father only knows that day, the day of the Lord, people automatically think judgment or the judgment day. Well, in Hebrew, it's just called Yom Kippur. We call it the day of the Lord, or in that day. Or Jesus said, my Father knows that day. So knowing a Hebraic mindset, he's referring to Yom Kippur, the high holiest day of the year. So on that day, we dress up in white like a bride, prepare for the groom, we fast. You can't be on earth at two places at the same time. So that's why we do a main plot. We go there, we go over prayer, we renew our vows like a wedding.
And basically, after that day, as it ends, it's called the closing of the gates, or Milah. And, God closes that day. And then our judgment is sealed for 52 weeks. We're booked for life. If you're not in the day of the Lord, see, you're going to the other book called the Book of Death, which I think what you expose a hell of a lot of what this subplot is. They're all about death, chaos, which you've been exposing very, very clearly and nicely. And that's why I think definitely, you got a hand of God on you for a specific gift you have for sure. And you're exposing it, massively. And, I figure all the assassins you might have on you spiritually or physically, I definitely think that's your gift and calling. So you're definitely following it well. So that's why, I look at your work for like a subplot message. It's like, okay, so here's what the enemy, they're calling them, one brother said aliens. Well, they're called fallen angels, right? Lucifer, Hasatan, or we call it the realm of death. That's all we call it in Hebrew. We try to stay in the realm of life. And basically, I think that's what you're really exposing, at a subplot. And just to go off topic, just to switch it up gear, I remember you had a video of this Daft Punk when the silver man exploded. I think that was last May, if I'm not mistaken, and I bought like a hell of a lot of silver, and I still been getting it, but it's down to $20 an ounce. I was like, man, I don't know when this sucker's going to blow to the moon, but I definitely been getting it, because obviously the dollar's going like toilet paper. It's just going down the drain. So definitely silver and gold been tested over 5,000 years over the empire, had it. And I think the subplot message is going digital currency, fake currency, virtual world. And they're taking everything that's real, your food, your water, your clothing, your land, and they're just transferring you with basically nothing. And it's really sad how people live in such a fantasy land or unreality. See, in Hebrew, it's real. If I can't touch it, smell it, taste it, to me, it's just not going to be real. Because everything we exchange for our time and currency on earth is for something real. But importantly, a subplot, they're giving you all kinds of fantasy, false imagination, illusions. And like I said, if you listen to a fear-mongering person all day, the media and everything, which you keep exposing, like, I don't even know how you do it, man, because I can't be around at that 24/7. I just take a glance and look at it, but that's why I watch your channel a lot, because you just expose the hell out of it. Okay, so I see what the subplot's doing next. Like these Jesuits or Catholicism, how they're mocking God. And yeah, that's what Hasatan or Realm of Death does. But I hate to say it, but every avenue you keep going down, it's just more and more chaos. And then finally, when it ends, like, oh, okay, that ended. Let's see what the next chaotic thing is. Then that ends, and then you go to the next kit. And then when you keep going down these paths, it's like, well, what's the real conclusion of this thing? How do I conquer this thing? How the hell do I get out of it? Well, in Hebrew, we just believe in the next 2 years, in 2024, let me rephrase it. Coming September, you'll have the end of the Shemitah cycle every 7 years. So that is coming September on Rosh Hashanah. And we also know it's a fall of something or a collapse. And I think you show like 2008, 2009, you'll have an economic collapse, physical collapse. But we also know, in Hebrew, that we know there's going to be a collapse in the next 2 months. They're priming the pump and preparing for it. What it is, we don't know, but also bankruptcy laws come into effect. All kinds of other things will come into effect that can really set the slaves free and freedom, if you want to look at it that way, in many ways. And I think the greatest thing is the faster these systems or governments do collapse, there's going to be a lot of hell and chaotic stuff, but it has to happen for you to really get set free to become something new. But in Hebrew, our destiny, we want to get back to the Abrahamic covenant land, which is obviously one little slice of land, you call it Israel. But the Abrahamic covenant land is Iraq, not Iran, little northern Turkey, the waters of Egypt, northern Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and that's called the Eitz Chaim, a tree of life. So when everyone's migrating all over the place, and that's going to intensify, but you see people going all over the place. So that's what God, we believe Yahweh is going to do. As people are shifting, coming east, we're going to Aliyah's call and go west. And then once you're a wheel within the wheel, as Ezekiel says, or a remnant, God will protect you and bless you and basically provide for you. But if you're in the outer wheel, I think Yeshua said you'll be in outer darkness. Matthew 24 means you'll be stuck in the nations. You won't have no more light. And basically, that's what Hasatan, I hate to say, will have a rule and reign for the next Shemitah, for the next 7 years of famine, which is going to be 2024 to 2030. And that's why you're going to see food shortages, cannibalism. That's why everything you're exposing, they know it's coming too. That's what they're priming the pump for. But that subplot message is a very dangerous one. I hope to God, there's no guarantees with me either, but I do not want to be there at that place on that earth, at that part of earth at time when it's that dark. And unfortunately, these guys love it. They work with fallen ones, the realm of death, the realm of darkness, and basically that's what they're priming and doing, and that's what you keep exposing.
Yeah.
But the problem, like I say, everything you're exposing, Zach, is like, well, it's all chaos, though. And it's like you can't find a conclusion. It's like one, like octopus, you cut an arm off, there's another one, then another one keeps coming. The damn thing just keeps coming at you. And that's, remember, this fallen one's been back to Gen 6, when one guy's calling them aliens, when the daughters of men slept with men, or fallen angels. And you got hybrids, serpentines, and also you read Genesis, like, my seed will be against your seed. And yeah, obviously you see these people, they're hybrids, they're mixed. And that's like days of Noah. God found Noah was righteous. His seed wasn't tainted, only 8 people. He started all over again. And that's all that's going to happen too. There's going to be a restart all over again. Fortunately, that realm of death will engulf itself and die, but it's going to take a hell of a lot of people with it.
Indeed.
So that doesn't seem like a great destiny. And my daughter just had one question. I was like, I don't know, I'll ask her and say, well, what one conspiracy do you really believe the most?
What conspiracy?
That's her one question she wanted to ask you.
What conspiracy? Well, how does she mean that? Does she mean like 9/11? Is 9/11 moon landing? I mean, how does she mean that question?
Well, you just asked her. He said, "What's one? What do you mean?" Well, I think everyone goes like, "Okay, there's fluoride in the water, right?" So I don't think that's a conspiracy. People think it's a conspiracy. Well, she's talking about like Illuminati conspiracy and, stuff like you expose all the Freemasons, Illuminati, everything. So I guess she's just going down, like I said, this chaotic system or tree of knowledge, good and evil. So, I mean, it just keeps going. It doesn't end. And that's the frustration. It's chaos because you don't feel like you're getting anywhere when you're exposing the hell out of it, but it just goes to the next thing, to the next thing, the next thing. And there's really no conclusion. Like, exactly, when you expose like COVID-19, you got to thank Putin. He killed it, but now they're on the war narrative. And now, they're going, I mean, I know I'm shuffling the deck right now, don't get me wrong, but you see what I'm saying? Then they kill that, they go to something next, but it's like, we're really got concluded. A lot more people got hurt out of it, more than anything else. It did is, damage is done.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, again, just to sort of answer a question, I get, for some reason, I'm getting crazy feedback. Anyway, I'll answer it off air. I appreciate the call. You have a good night. But, yeah, I guess the conspiracy that I'd be the most concerned about it is the one that we began with at the beginning of the night. The question, do they intend to reduce the Earth's population to 500 million? And if so, how soon? Are we right about the timeline? I've been thinking all these years that it's going to be after they turn 44 years old. Now, lately, I've seen a lot of stuff for 2025. In the movie They Live, that's the year they take over as well. You got the SPARS pandemic for 2025. So, I guess that's my biggest concern right now. Are we that close? Are we just a couple years away? So, let's go out to 347. What's up, 347? 347.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. Can you hear me?
Oh, can you go to the next call? We'll go to the next call and come back to me later.
I'll come back to you. Yeah, I'll come back. Okay, come at a bad time. Let's go out to Texas, 936.
Hey, Zach. I would ask you how you're doing, but I know you're going to say you're good. So there was two things that I wanted to talk to you about real quick, and I'll try to make it as quick as possible. But a few weeks ago, you had a show about people's favorite movie, like what do you call that when they tell the future in the movies?
When they tell the future, predictive programming.
There you are. Okay, predictive programming. Did anyone say anything about Star Wars?
I'm not sure. What's the Star Wars observation?
Okay, so I'm not sure how familiar you are with Star Wars, but with the quick rundown is it's about a father and a son. The father is born of he's like a Jesus figure. He's born of the Force. Let me start like this. There's two cults basically. There's a good cult and a bad cult. They're able to use a power called the Force, and it lets them like read people's minds, make them do things, move objects and stuff like that. But anyway, there's the two cults, and the whole story of Star Wars is about how there's one man who was born of the Force. You know, he has no father, and he is in the movie called the Chosen One, and he's supposed to be the greatest of the good cult, basically, is what it is. And so what happens is throughout the movie, the bad cult is able to turn him to the bad side, basically, and able to use him to basically like become like the ultimate, basically killer and controller. So what happens in the movie is he has a son. He has actually twins, but it's his son in the movie that does this. His son actually learns the good part of the cult, and he turns his dad back to the light side at the very end, and he's able to like destroy the evil cult, which I think is just like a quick, like, you know, good ending for us normal people.
Sure.
But what I thought was really interesting about, or the predictive programming part, is that throughout the entire movie, the evil cult is basically able to corrupt or like infiltrate the government. And at the end, the evil cult basically controls the entire government.
Yeah, sounds about right. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I always thought that was interesting. Okay, so that's my favorite predictive program, and I don't know if anybody said anything about Star Wars. The next thing I wanted to touch on real quick, or, you know, as long as you want, but chemtrails. I know you're familiar with chemtrails.
Of course. How could you not be?
I know, really, everywhere, and that's really what kind of started my, I guess as you would put it, like truth seeking. So, you know, these things, they bothered me. I knew they were up there, and I didn't understand what they were there for, and or what they were doing. So are you familiar with Sophia Smallstorm?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I've been listening to a lot of her information, and she's been totally scrubbed from YouTube. But since about 2016, and they go into so much depth about chemtrails. Like, they've done so much research, her and like other people. And there's another gentleman that she knows that has done a lot of research into it. And basically what they're finding is that chemtrails have, you know, they have these chemicals in them. They use them for geoengineering, you know. They say that maybe one day they might try to block out the sun or whatever. But that in the chemtrails there are nanofibers.
Right.
And that the nanofibers basically, you know, they fall to Earth and they get inside you, and, you know, you breathe them in, they get inside of you. And that when they get inside of you, or let me start with what they're made of. They're made of like nano machines, basically, you know, nano tubes and dried red blood cells. And so, and it makes me think of like raining blood. But anyway, so these things, they get inside you, and once they have you like as a host, then they're able to like replicate themselves, and that they, you know, that they spread throughout your body or whatever. And there are people, have you ever heard of Morgellons syndrome?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so they were talking about like how Morgellons syndrome could be like a reaction to chemtrails and the nanofibers that they're finding inside of people, and that, you know, it might be like their body like trying to reject it, so their bodies like grow basically like electrical wires and grow like insect type looking creatures and stuff. There's a really crazy website called Morgellons Exposed, where they talk about that. I'm not even sure if it's still there. I haven't looked at it in quite some time because, like I said, I used to look into this in 2016. But they say that these these wires basically that are inside of everyone, because they're dropping these chemtrails everywhere and everyone breathes them in, that they're made of these nanotubes and that they have a little bit of gold inside of them, and that the gold acts as like an antenna, like I think they call it a transistor that's able to send and receive basically radio messages, and that these things are spreading basically through everyone's body. They've been able to get these things to grow in a petri dish from just people that just hawk a loogie into a dish, and they just cultivate these nano tubes into these gross looking, basically like from a movie. But so they say that they're dropping these things. Well, I mean they're finding this stuff, and we obviously see the chemtrails. But Morgellons syndrome is kind of like, I don't know, maybe like an eerie glimpse into like what could really happen if they just, maybe it's part of the plan, but if they decide to activate these things or whatever.
Sure.
And whatever their purpose may be. I was just thinking about it right now while I was on hold, because people were talking about like how, I watch your show like all the time, but every day. But, like if they were able to, obviously these things are in the brain and stuff. And, like maybe perhaps if they were to activate them or whatever, they could just have a bunch of us like go crazy and kill each other, instead of there being like some war or something like that. I don't know, just a thought of mine.
Okay, but, it's interesting. Sometimes I wonder if it's just like a slow kill, if it's cancer causing, if it'll knock off people quicker than they would have otherwise disappeared from the earth. I mean, there's a lot of things you can speculate on. It doesn't seem like they're trying to cover it up as much as they were 10, 15 years ago. It seems like now they're kind of out there with the geoengineering. And just to remind people, barium, one of the key ingredients in the geoengineering, it's mostly aluminum and barium. Barium does have an atomic number of 56, and that's funny because climate change equals 56. So, anyhow,
there you go.
Appreciate the call and the thoughts. Thank you very much.
You got it.
All right. You have a good night.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care. All right. Let's go out to 951. What's going on, 951?
Hello.
Hello.
Yo, what's going on, Zach? It's Rakim. We met in OKC.
Okay. Yeah. What's up?
I was just saying what's up. Yeah. I haven't been listening to your videos lately, but I follow you on Twitter and whatnot and still keep up. There isn't really much for me to really watch anymore, because I'm like, all right, this stuff is so in your face now. Like, all I need to prove to anybody, like, I'm still preaching this stuff day in and day out. But Pearl Harbor, 9/11, coronavirus, it doesn't get any more straightforward like that. Like, I try to put people on that all the time. But yeah, I'm just here to say what's up. I haven't called in a minute. Tell you I'm doing good. Lost 20 pounds since the last time since OKC. Yeah, just hope you're doing good out there. You're doing good.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and thank you for checking in, and thank you for getting the word out there. And yeah, those examples you're giving are good examples to give. They're concrete, so appreciate it.
All right, no. All right, then. You have a good one.
All right, yeah, you too. Have a good night.
All right, too.
All right, let's go out to Cleveland, Georgia, 706. Hey, this is somewhere near the Guidestones.
Hey, Zach. This is Mark from Northeast Georgia. How are you?
Thanks for calling in. Doing well. Thank you.
Okay. Have you pulled up a map of Elbert County, Georgia?
I can pull one up
where
real quick.
the Guidestones were?
Yeah.
Okay. You have Lincolnton Highway, Washington Highway, Athens Highway, and Lexington Highway, along with some others. I wasn't sure about the significance on those.
Okay.
Maybe the highway numbers.
I was trying to pull up a map here so I could go with you, but let's see.
Okay.
You wanted to say the highway numbers?
Lincoln Highway is, Lincoln Highway's Highway 79.
Well, Lincoln equals 79, so doesn't that make sense?
Okay, there you go. Washington Highway is, let me see here, 17.
Well, the word Mason is 17. Of course, he's that infamous Mason, first president. But yeah, 17 doesn't exactly have a Washington connection, but it has the Mason connection. Okay, what else?
Right, yeah. Lexington Highway is Highway 77.
Off the top of my head, I don't know the gematria for Lexington. I'd have to look.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be like Virginia or whatever, but Athens Highway is Highway 72.
Okay. Well, the only one that's the direct hit is that Lincoln 79. That's fitting, though. So.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you or Rambo had pulled up the area. Washington is, I think, in Wilkes County, just south of Elberton. And I figured that, for them to put Guidestones in Elbert County, being right next to Washington, that was pretty fitting for them to do.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, good observations.
Also, have you pulled up any of the videos of the unveiling? People have been posting the videos of the unveiling of the Guidestones, and that was back in 79 when Mayor Maynard Jackson was our mayor. And that's where the Jackson came in Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. He actually gave them way to expand Hartsfield Airport, so they put Hartsfield-Jackson on there.
Okay, so 1979.
He was there.
Just to go back, 1979. That's when the stones were erected without the etchings.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, is that what was the video? Because the etchings weren't on there yet, right? That's March 22nd, 1980. But from what I understand, the stones went up at the end of 79.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if they were already etched or not.
You don't get
hold on.
to do well.
We got a commercial break. We'll be right back. Sit tight.
Life has a mysterious way of hanging on to all the answers and only gives them up to the people that are inspired by reasons. So reasons make the difference in how your life works out. Now, what are some of the reasons for doing well? Let's go through a quick list called Reasons for Doing Well. First is personal reasons. Some people do well for recognition. Some people do well for respect. Some people do well for the way it makes them feel. They love the feeling of being a winner. Those are good reasons. I have some millionaire friends that keep working 10, 12 hours a day, making more millions. And it's not because they need the money. It's because they need the joy and the satisfaction and the pleasure that comes from being a constant winner. And see, it's not just the money anyway. It's the journey, not the money.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state. Manifest new and exciting experiences. Re-energize your life. And build inspiring connections with others in our community.
If there's something you want to achieve, you can achieve any freaking thing you want as long as you know what the goal is. That's why goal posters or goal boards or even just telling someone what your goals are, writing them down is so important, because once you can identify your goal, it makes it so much easier to work towards it. And that's something that I think our children are not being taught in the school system right now, is how to set a proper goal. It's like, hey, what do you want to achieve? Well, the teacher gave me these things I want to achieve. Okay, well, what's that going to do for you? Well, I don't know. The teacher said I had to do it. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't teach them the logical thought process or the creative thinking process to develop a goal and then reverse engineer what they need to do to accomplish that goal. And we need more of that true goal setting in our society. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of sheep who have no idea what they're doing. They're just bumbling around. Don't be a sheep, be a goat. They're more creative and adventurous anyways. Be an ornery goat.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. It's the final 30 minutes. We're going to let 706 finish up their thought. Then we got 337, 389, 361, 671, and back to 706.
Okay, thanks, Zach. I went back to that video of the unveiling. It was 1980, and so it was after they were already inscribed. But there's some people in there that I can't identify all of them, but I'm sure that they're some of the hypes. But I just thought I'd bring that to light and everything, and maybe add a piece to the puzzle.
Okay, I really appreciate that. And again, for people who don't know, again, the inscription on there, R.C. Christian, it's very likely that it was Robert Carter Cook, the eugenicist. And again, 19-foot tall stone structures when the eugenics movement began in the 19th century. But in Gematria, again, there's 4 base ciphers. If you write out Robert Carter Cook in the most simple cipher, it equals 187. They came down on the 187th day of the year. If you use numerology, Robert Carter Cook is 79. And they were first put up at the end of 79. And the property they're on was bought on October 1st, 10/1. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Robert Carter Cook is 101 and 79, like the date, 10/1 for 101 in the year 79. And then they come down on the 187th day of the year. But I'm going to look up that video because I've never seen that before, the unveiling. So I appreciate the heads up on that. Thank you.
Yeah, it was WYFF TV, I believe. And, growing up here in the Atlanta area, there was always a rumor that Ted Turner had something to do with the Stones, too. So, might want to look into that.
Indeed. That would make a lot of sense since he's also a Mr. Eugenics. But appreciate that.
Right. Okay. Hey, I appreciate it, Zach.
All right. You have a good night.
Thanks for all that you do.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
For the record, Ted Turner equals 44 like Georgia as well. And again, the Guidestones, technically they're never going to turn 44 years old, but there still will be a period of time where what would have been the 44th anniversary will be here. And yeah, I mean, the nice thought would be that whoever destroyed those stones really has changed the plan and they don't want to take the Earth's population down to 500 million anymore, but My feeling tells me that we're closer to them doing that, and they don't want those things up there anymore to kind of reveal that this was the plan all along. Let's go out to 951. 951, you're on.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well, thank you.
So I'm a first-time caller, and I'm new to this, like very, very new. So this is going to sound very strange, but a physicist came to me, and he had discovered it, and he's new to it too. And he started crunching the numbers, and apparently there's going to be a very dark ritual that is occurring on 7/17/2022. Apparently something very bad is going to happen as a result of it. I'm a bit scattered at the moment because it seems very important. Otherwise, he wouldn't have. He's been trying to spread it as much as possible. Let's see. He found out that pretty much everything that's entered into that date has a very bad outcome. Let's see. On that day, apparently, there's going to be a baseball game at Yankee Stadium between the Red Sox and the Yankees, which are both of Babe Ruth's former teams. And it's the satanic cipher basically is 771, and it comes out as the Curse of the Bambino, which is I found really interesting.
Okay.
Let's see. So yeah, apparently it's because we're in between two twin eclipses. So this is important. And hearing one of your other callers say that it was Jupiter and Saturn are going to be close to the moon, that makes a great deal of sense. What was it? So let's see. He has a website specifically, Simpsons911.com, which I think people need to see the videos of it. It's one word, Simpsons911.com, and it pretty much has all the locations where something bad is likely to happen. Let's see. Sorry, I'm a tad freaked because of all the things that came about of it. Let's see.
I got the website up here for July 17, 2022. So did they see something in The Simpsons that pointed to that date?
A ton of things, many things. Everything that he told a bunch of our friends, and we had him enter things from video games, from everything, and everything seems to like just come out like as an explosion of crazy things. Yeah, basically it's how do I put it? Potentially a nuclear fallout.
Okay.
Potentially. And so I've been just waiting for that. But I've also been trying to spread it, but it's actually been very surprisingly difficult. So I think that they don't want a lot of people to know about it.
Okay.
Also, it's quite literally everywhere. There was a television show, specifically the airing of an episode on The Legend of Korra, specifically, where there's basically, how do I put it? There are these twin portals. They're obsessed with twins, like twin eclipses, twin towers, you name it. So there's twin portals to the spirit world in this episode. And the date that this comes out, specifically, let's see.
While you're looking, I'll just remind people that date can be written 17/7, like 177, and interesting things with Gematria. New World Order is 177, the Jesuit Order is 177, Klaus Schwab is 177, who put on Event 201. The word propaganda is 177. The first use of that word was by the Catholic Church. The New York Times equals 177. That'll be a Sunday. So,
while I'm looking it up, if everybody could post the emoji for the calendar date, you should look at what it is, the calendar date on it. Everything leads to this for whatever reason. I don't know why. I discovered that part too, which was disturbing.
What do you mean by that, about the calendar date?
The calendar date on the emoji for the calendar is July 17th.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll check out more information at the website, and I appreciate the heads up. So thank you.
Yes, definitely.
All right, you have a good night. Take care. All right. 605. I see your name on the call board, and I believe you sent me some cash apps tonight. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Zach. Yeah, man, that ain't nothing. That's all chump change, dude. Yeah, it's Eloy out in Rapid City. So I just wanted to call and kind of basically answer your question and also give you maybe a recommendation on when to kind of get more information on the Guidestones. So to answer tonight's question is basically, I think obviously it's very obvious they're going to use vaccines kind of to populate everyone, not in a official way, but I'm also hinting and thinking maybe around nuclear fallout, only because you hear all the stuff going on with Iran and how they're barely finding out ways to create bombs. So I think it's more of a race on whoever is going to let them off first. So I think, my answer for tonight's question would be nuclear disaster and vaccination.
Now that you say that, I have to make a point. So, War of the Worlds, the Steven Spielberg movie, debuted in Japan on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And, of course, that's about aliens attacking humanity. But what you find out in the story is that they were already here. They were underground. And it makes me think of all the underground weapons testing they did and how many bombs they planted in the ground. And I was just imagining, like, let's just say, let's say LA, a huge bomb goes off and the news starts and it's immediate panic and fear and there's immediate speculation. Was it North Korea? Was it China? Was it the Russians? Maybe it wasn't any of them. Maybe it was the New World Order that we're a part of and the bomb was planted there for decades and just waiting till the right day to set it off for the ongoing ritual. I was thinking about that with the War of the Worlds thing. I was like, they could have bombs planted all over America. It's just like, I'm pretty sure the bombs that went off on 9/11 were put there after the 93 World Trade Center bombing. And
did you know I was just saying, did you know in the opening scene when the first alien actually gets electrocuted and started up with the electricity, did you know that when they're running away and there's a door right there, and on that door it has 201 on it? So I thought that was very funny as well. But it's in the very first, well, not very first, but it's an opening scene when the first alien gets shown onto the show and they're all running away and everyone's getting zapped right behind them. But yeah, on the door, it literally has 201 on there.
That's for War of the Worlds?
That to you last time, I forgot.
That's War of the Worlds?
Yeah, literally had 201 on the door. Yeah,
I gotta go.
Scene when,
okay, I gotta go back and get that. Yes. That's why I realized Steven Spielberg loves to put the 201s in his film. He might have more than anybody else I've noticed. So
it was very crazy too, because when I was watching that movie, I didn't notice it any other time that I've watched the movie. But since I've followed your research for like the past 2 years, I've noticed I've noticed these numbers every freaking place, dude. It's insane. But in the opening scene when the first alien gets shocked alive, on the door it has 201 on it.
Okay, and that movie, by the way, starts with that movie starts with blackouts in Ukraine, War of the Worlds, and again the whole Ukraine thing's a big 201 ritual. So okay.
Yep, and then one other thing I was going to tell you, kind of probably maybe help out your research a little bit on the Guidestones, but I know I had I told you about that book. I forgot the name of it, but it kind of like explained all the Nazi ties into American culture. But there's this video on YouTube called The Dark Clouds of Alberton. It's a documentary about almost 2 hours long, but in that documentary, I've only gotten to like halfway. But they expose a lot of stuff, and I just thought maybe you'd be interested in that video and maybe kind of line up some information. It's called Dark Clouds over Alberton. It's on YouTube.
Okay. Dark Clouds Over Alberton. I'll have to
Did you
I'll
find
look
it?
that up.
Yeah. So yeah, just those two things, and yeah, man. I look up to you, Zach. You're, I'm saying, you're a big freaking influencer, and you kind of, that was one of my main questions growing up: is how do these secret societies go about running the world without anyone knowing? And obviously, speaking that into existence, I found your channel, and from finding your channel, I learned so much more. But yeah. Check those things out, and yeah, definitely 201 on that fucking movie, man. It's insane.
All right, I'm going to go back and find that. Good eyes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. All right, let's go out to 817. 817, you're on.
Zach?
Yes.
Hey, it's Steven from Mansfield, Texas. I'm calling to answer the question of the night. Have you ever seen the lady that did the video called NASA Documents? Her name is Deborah, and her last name starts with a T. I can't pronounce
Tavares?
it. That's that lady. You seen that?
I know who she is.
Hotel room.
I know who she is, but I have not seen that.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you need to go to stopthecrime.net on YouTube. It's 35 minutes long, and she came out a few years ago, and she is reading these supposed NASA war documents and everything about the truth community that we talk about. She is reading it, and these are official government documents from NASA. NASA's, I don't know why NASA would declare war on us, but anyway. In these documents, and one of the ways that I feel that yes, they're going to start killing some way a bunch of humans. I have been feeling this way for a very long time, and especially with the Georgia Guidestones. My theory is, and you don't know it too, is vaccines. What if it's the people who got vaccine? It's time delayed. In a few years from now, people that got the vaccine could start dropping dead. Okay, another scenario: the chemtrails. They're spraying shit all over us, and then the 5G radiation. Okay, they could literally we're in an outdoor microwave oven. We're being cooked slowly from the inside out, and they could crank up that energy, and poof, we just disintegrate because we got aluminum in us because of the chemtrails spraying aluminum on us, and also it's in the water, it's in the food, and it's in our deodorant. So we got aluminum all in us. And what happens when you put aluminum foil in the microwave oven? It catches on fire. Okay, so aluminum all over the trees, all over the houses. Everything catches on fire from the 5G. That's another, we've talked about that. Okay, so then we have your theory that that actually is not a theory, it's real, weather warfare, like what they did with Hurricane Harvey. Controlling Hurricane Harvey. I've never seen a hurricane go backwards. When a hurricane hits land, it goes inward. But no, Hurricane Harvey, they backed that sucker up. Remember what they did?
Yeah.
And then it flooded. Yeah, then it flooded the hell out of Houston. So I do 100% think and know that they use weather as a weapon on us. And everybody's going to look at you weird and go, "Oh no, the United States can't do that. That's God. That's Mother Nature." No, it goes back to almost every year on like March 3rd, which can be written 3/3. We're going to have the tornado somewhere in America, usually a deadly tornado. What a coincidence that happens on March 3rd, almost every year, that there's a deadly tornado, and tornado equals 33. Right. So all of these things, the diseases, the vaccines, the chemtrails, weather warfare, diseases, everything, they could use at once. And also just outright war. The United States, they could wipe everybody out just like that. But I don't think they want to destroy all the infrastructure. I just think they want to get rid of the people and leave as much of the infrastructure up so they can use it. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree that they'd want to preserve the important infrastructure. Of course, a lot of what's here, if there's not so many people, it wouldn't be necessary. But you make a lot of great points. Ruin. So,
yeah, definitely. Before I let you go, I want to shout out to Richard Quinn. Rich, you know Rich.
Of course.
He I bought some gematria cards from him. They arrived. I've been trying to text him for a few days. I think Rich might be sick. So shout out to Rich. I hope you get better. Anyway, thank you, Zach. Love you, brother. Keep up the good work. I'll see you later.
All right, friend. You have a good night. All right. Our friend in New York, I think they're ready now. What's up, New York?
Hello, Zach?
Yeah, you're on.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
I really don't got too much tonight. The only thing I want to talk about, did you see the flooding in Virginia saying that 44 people was missing? That's the only thing I really saw. I want to talk about that. Did you see that?
Flooding in Virginia?
Yeah, flooding in Virginia, 44 missing.
Okay, I missed that one. Okay, I'll look into that.
All right, so I'll let you get some more calls. I don't got too much tonight.
All right, friend, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, take care. Let's go out to 559.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, what's up, Zach? Oh, shit.
How you
Never
doing?
thought I'd be on, man.
You made it.
Good. How about yourself? Yeah,
Doing well,
man.
thank
Hell yeah. Damn. Fuck, I don't know what to say, man. Especially the topic for tonight. They've been depopulating us for a long time already.
That's true.
I think, with the food, a lot of people overweight, diabetes, heart attack, people live less, broken families, so they got this planned out, They're just going to accelerate it, but I think we're just doing it to ourselves. That's the plan. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, but shit. Let's see, what else? Fuck, I don't know what to say, man. I'm a little nervous. I've been listening to you, man, since you started, and keep up the good work, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. And just in the future, I didn't know you were nervous. You sounded great. So.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. I'm a truck driver, so I'm truck driving right now. So I'm from Fresno, California, by the way.
All right. Well, thanks for being out there delivering the goods.
For sure, man. Thanks. Have a nice night.
All right, friend. You take care.
You too.
I heard his navigation right there in the end. All right, last caller on hold. We're going to get through everybody tonight. 323, you're on.
Hello?
Hello.
What's up, my man, Zach? How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. Being a true seeker, I just wanted to call in. I'm a regular listener for a few years, but I just wanted to shout out my mom, Tanya Carney. She passed away July 11, 7/11. And it was from you know what. I did send her your video. She was woke, but she had to make the decision due to her circumstances. But just want to shout out my mom, tell her keep watching over me. Your son's still true seeking, and just thanks for giving me all this information to keep me going through a hard time. Just to know that there is hope with this BS. You know what I'm saying?
I'm very sorry to hear that happened to your mother. And
yeah,
that's good though, because she raised a good son, obviously.
Hey,
so.
but we still in here strong, Zach. I just want to say I appreciate you, buddy, and stick in there.
All right, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, you stay strong out there.
Have a good night.
Yeah, take care.
Yes, sir. Late.
All right, have a good night. That's too bad he lost his mother just 2 days ago too, and he said, from what? And I think we all know what he means. We had one more person phone in, and it's Alaska. And you know what, Alaska? You get the last minute of the show.
Yo, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I just have a little bit, I don't even know, man. I don't even know where to start. but a little bit of 26. Of course, we all know about the 26. Is bear is 26 in the simple cipher, and what is it? Well, Russia, they caused the bear market.
Right.
They're known as the bear.
Right.
By their symbol, if you look it up, they're known as the bear, I guess you could say. And then just even with the bear market, it's just back to all the color, animal symbolism, all the freaking green and red, all the freaking animals. I don't even know. But then, if we have time, can you pull a couple things up?
We don't really have much time. You might just want to go right through it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if this is a coincidence, because I've been running into so many connections. I don't even know anymore. But there's this rapper named Playboy Cardi, and he has this song called Sky, and in his video, there's a green overlay, like the whole entire time. And I was like, I think it was released like 2020, or it was released semi-recently. But of course, we had the green sky recently. I don't know if that's just a coincidence. But, what is it? Oh, another, with the green and born and stuff. Born, and the most simple is 49. And then, what is it, with the Tokyo? Well, with the whole entire Japan thing. That was a huge thing. There's a lot of pig symbolism. But even that, the Shinzo Abe was assassinated by, I forgot his first name, but his last name was something Yagami. And in Japanese, Japanese death gods are Shinigami. So Shinzo got assassinated by Yagami.
I see. We ran out of show caller, but great point. We'll be right back. All right, True Seeker, that is the end of the TFR episode. Again, in case you tuned in for the first time, we're here every Wednesday night doing the TFR radio show, but I cannot control the music or the commercial breaks. That's all on timers. If you don't listen to Truth Frequency Radio, you might want to check it out, tfrlive.com. Here's a man who knows how to call in at the end of the show. Hold on, let me... 1 second, DK. Let me switch over the audio settings so they can hear you. Oh, it wasn't even that important of a thought. I was just letting people know on Wednesday nights we can't control the commercials or the timers. So, anyway, what's up, DK?
I thought it was great calls tonight. So I actually had to write down a couple things that the callers were talking about, but let me just say a couple things first. I think it's a good thing that you're calling out all these other channels and you're staying on them because, like you said, these are just operatives and infiltrators that are trying to take over the movement. And I was going to mention that donut channel to you a few weeks ago. I had it written down, and then somebody said, I was going to say, this guy's been plagiarized. I just found it recently, I don't know, maybe a month ago. He's just coming straight off my Facebook page, but it's like a week or two behind, kind of like how InfoWars always was when they were up. I mean, countless times, how many times I posted that they're directly plagiarizing my work with the dates when I posted it, and then, Alex Jones talking about it a month later. And now this donut channel is kind of mixing together like stuff that I talk about, like those genres with Gematria. But he's too dumb to explain the Gematria and stuff. He's smart enough to explain the stuff I talk about, but he's not. So it's so obvious that it's a shill that's just, they want to put out the work. They don't want real people like me and you and other folks who are really part of this truth movement to put it out. They want to put it out, so they want to control that, that opposition movement. So I'm glad that you're staying on these people until they finally peter out and just, sink into the sand.
Hopefully.
One quick thing I wanted to mention before I do any of my little decodes is there's a movie called Under the Silver Lake which is about a guy who discovers a code while how they're killing people in Hollywood. And Silver Lake is the city right next to Hollywood, where a lot of people used to live from Hollywood, and it's because there's a little lake right there in the mountains. But I think you would be. I haven't even seen the movie, but I saw the clips from it. I'm like, this guy is Zach in the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
somebody told me to watch this years ago, and I never got around to doing it. Okay.
Yeah. It just reminded me, like, this is like the story of Zach from their point of view. You know, the guy figures out the code and in Hollywood, and they're killing all these people, and he's like, oh shit, could this possibly be true that they're doing this? You know? So yeah, I think that one may be interesting. As far as this main question you had for the night, I think like for all kinds of years I've been hearing that it's like kind of like twofold. So on one side, we could look at it from the dark side, like they want to eliminate all these people. But then on the good side, it's like once the chaff is all gone off the earth, then the people that were actually awake, good people, which will only be 500 million, will inherit the earth. And it's like a future playbook. You know, like once evil is taken off the earth, and the people who are like set here to repopulate the earth and kind of like have the new earth will be that 500 million. So I've heard it from both sides. Could it be mostly like kind of like subterfuge to where they're just keeping us busy, keeping you know, our eye on the birdie while all the agendas are still going on? I think that's what it probably mostly is. Another guy people told you about, the Harry Vox guy.
Uh-huh.
Harry Vox is good. I think you should do an interview or go on his show. The thing is, he's about 25% as awake as you are, but he's a good dude. I think you could teach him a lot, and you know, he may gain some viewers and followers from going on Harry Vox.
Okay.
So I've known about him for like 10 years or whenever he came out. Also, these guys that you mentioned, Jim Brewer, Owen Benjamin, Anomaly. Is anybody else catching the coincidence that all these guys are small hats? You know, so I mean, just always watch these last names. I always tell people when they tell me about certain, I'm like, well, just based on these last names, these are all, you know, Jewish last names. So you gotta watch out. Gotta watch out.
It seems to be a real helpful trait to have if you want to make it in show business. So.
Yeah. You know, even guys, you know, even like a little white kid that pretends to be like he's part black and got tattoos, Beaver, it's still a Jewish last name. You know, come on, folks. Let's not fall for this stuff. That one caller that said government is the beast, that he was 100% right. That is the beast system. It's government. Satan has manifested in physical form on planet Earth, and his name is government. So that guy was 100% right on. What else did I have here? Oh, the tattoo you guys were talking about. So the way I was looking at it is obviously you got the dark lion and the white lion. So, you know, the black and white duality. And then, you know, the sleeping masses were always called the sleeping lion, right? And then, you know, also evil never sleeps. So you see the roaring lion on the evil side constantly roaring and, you know, constantly working, while the white, you know, the white lion, the one in the light, is just sitting there, you know, kind of like sleeping, waiting, kind of like how humanity is. And then in between that, you have the eye, you know, which that was my first call where I said the eye. They call it a football, but it's in the shape of an eye, not a ball. So, you know, and then Aaron Rodgers is a football player, and he's holding the eye constantly in his hands, throwing it to other people. So, you know, that's kind of perfectly fitting for him. This dude that was just called in talked about Spielberg movies. I just want to mention, I don't know if I mentioned this before, Steven Spielberg's dad, who was a big computer guy. He was the guy that worked with like the Nazis inventing the first computers. He gave Bill Gates and Steve Jobs their start. Spielberg's dad.
Huh.
Yeah. What else did I have written down? Oh, you were asking, like, you were trying to figure out what the word, what number 5 or 555 means. 5, since the ancient times, has always stood for magic, or like the ether is the fifth element, where like magic, or to control consciousness, which we call magic, or to control, you know, what they call the force, like that caller was talking about in Star Wars, where you can move objects and stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's the ether that Tesla was talking about. So, you know, they the cabal is like controlling the physical realm, which is the four elemental realm, and they're doing that with knowledge of the fifth element, or the ether, the fifth realm. So like 4 and 5, and then they're always like 4 and 5, which adds up to 9. The cabal is like, they're the number 9. So I think maybe that's another side, like, allegory they use those two numbers for. What else did I want to say here? Oh yeah, somebody just mentioned Sophia Smallstorm and Deborah Tavares. I used to do way back, probably it's already like 8 years ago. I've been on a couple panels with Sophia Smallstorm. She's really good as far as these, a lot of these agendas like chemtrails she focused on. If you ever want me to go really all the way down the rabbit hole into what chemtrails is and how it works, how it's a multifaceted agenda, I'll do that. I don't necessarily want to get into it now, but it's a 3-stage process. They're letting out 3 different things up there. It's not like one plane is just letting it out. There's things that have to come together for the chemtrails to do all the work that they're set up to do. So it isn't just the planes that you see spraying the stuff. There's a whole chemical process that has to come together there.
Chemistry. I want to figure out how they turn the sky green in South Dakota. So.
Yeah, I know we talked about that like the day it happened. I was wondering what happens, because green is copper. So I'm wondering, like when you have copper rain gutters and all that, then after a while they oxidize and they turn green, and people like that green look. It looks like, it's an expensive old castle house or something.
Right.
This is a big thing that when you mentioned this, I think this was maybe even last week too, you were talking about, people are saying, Tara saying she was at one of these events and that it's real. So that's one of the first thing I started doing when I went public, it was like 10 years ago, was decoding false flags. And I found Ole Damagard at the time, because he was the best guy at the time for decoding false flags. He wasn't doing it from like a gematria standpoint or anything. He was literally like going to these sites and just looking at the little marks they made on the ground for the crisis actors, like step here, walk this way. Then they even had like fake bullet holes, like the sticker bullet holes like you could put on your car. They had them like on wall. I mean, it was just crazy. So I was like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I contacted him and told him about what was really going on as far as the spiritual nature of these false flags, that they actually have to tell us the truth about it based on karmic law and all that. He was like, what? That sounds insane. And so he went and, he's an honest guy, and he went and looked back at all the stuff, and he's like, oh, fuck, dude, that guy was actually right. And then he got back to me. He's like, listen, I looked back at all this stuff, and, you're right, dude. And so I went through 1 or 2 false flags with them. Not only that, they're putting the clues for the next false flag in these and stuff. And then so he went on a couple shows saying, I got contacted by an insider, and then he started predicting all these false flags, probably stopped like 5 to 10 of them, because he just said on this day, or just look for this place. Look for something to happen in Copenhagen, or look for something to, so, and it wasn't until the Vegas one, and me and Ole were both under the impression that they were totally fake and staged, like nobody was even getting hurt until the Vegas one. And the reason why is because I had 3 people that I know were in Vegas at members of the shooting. One is a childhood friend who's a coworker of mine now, but I've known him since we were kids. We go snowboarding together, all kinds of stuff. He got shot in the back with a 50 cal, covering his wife, because they hit the ground when the shots were fired. So he just, being a man, he jumped on top of his wife's over her back, and he got shot in the back with a fit, barely survived. He was in the hospital for like a week, like collapsed his lung and everything. And so that means he had to have been shot from above, because you're not going to hit somebody laying on the ground. It's it's an awkward angle. And another coworker of mine who I don't really know also got shot. And there was videos of him online where, he was holding his stomach, and then he came out. They're like, oh, I think I'm good. And then he moves his hand and it's all bleeding. But then what they showed us online was just these dorky, again, small hat kids holding up shoes, like running barefoot. It's always shoes, by the way. That's why the Holocaust, they show us all those shoes. So it's a big, big thing about shoes. Ole was always doing is like, then the next day there's a shooting on the mainstream news. What's the main picture? bunch of cops and everything. Right center stage is shoes. Like they always just putting shoes. So anyway, when that false flag happened in Vegas, I got a hold of Ole and I'm like, look, I know it all looks completely fake. Obviously, the guy's not shooting from like some 33rd story or whatever they say. But I had friends there that were actually shot, and another guy that was friends of some of my friends that were there, who was in the military and did a couple tours like Afghanistan, Iraq. He's like, listen, I've been in all kinds of fire situations, training. I know when I'm being shot at from the ground or from the air, and we were being shot at from the ground. We were walking into fire head on. That's where they were pushing all the crowd to head on fire. So once that happened, Ole and I kind of realized a lot of these false flags are like hybrid false flags. There's a real event that goes on, and then they can have a whole nother event like coinciding with it, which is a real one that they actually kill people, and then a whole nother one they stage, and we get only the footage on that one on the news.
Sure.
And then after that, we had the Christchurch, and I saw the footage of the mosque that they show on TV, the one where all the dead bodies piled themselves up into the corner and all that. Remember that?
Right.
As dead bodies do, right? And then I saw the real one where there was like spots of blood all over, and it had a very similar carpet on the ground and the design in the carpet. And I'm like, oh shit, they're running concurrent, false flags, one a real one and one a fake one. And they could easily run both at the same time and really injure people or kill people, and then on the news show us all the fake stuff and all their just crisis actors and all that while something really went on.
Right.
So we have to, we can't all automatically assume that, because I used to do this before. I would automatically assume it was just completely fake, and I was even wondering for a long time, like, did they really kill 3,000 people or 2,997 in the towers, or did they actually evacuate those things and then like make us think they killed that many people, and blame it on guys with rags on their heads so we could go attack their country, I mean, I'm assuming they probably did kill those people, but that's always in the back of my mind, like, was that even real, So I think, with these false flags, man, they're really playing with us because of how they're staging these, like the fact that, different aspects of it are real and different aspects of it are fake. And then we're just presented with a whole lot of shit to, try to discern it. Well, and then, you say, oh, this shit's fake. And then people are like, no, I really had my family member killed and stuff, And then that screws it up, because then you have a bunch of these fake shills coming in saying that too, and, totally lying. So it's really hard to tell now on these false flags. Really hard.
Yeah, it's just like being in Buffalo. It's like, because when I was there, I was like, okay, all these people who died are prominent people in the community. What are the odds of that? And including the guy who made the his truck that could run on water for a brief period of time. And it's like, okay, maybe all these people didn't really die in the store. Maybe the store is the story, so that people aren't questioning, what really happened to these prominent people in the community. So I totally get what you're saying.
Let me ask you, what do you think about this? So, like, if I were to ask you, what picture would come up in your mind if I told you, like, Satan or the satanic force on earth? What's the first thing you like, like, if you were going to draw that picture, what comes up in your mind?
It probably would be government.
Well, no, I mean, like, actually a real effigy. What would, like, if I said, okay, what's the, religiously, what is it that they present to us as the like opposer? What effigy, what like actual physical likeness does it take? What's the archetype?
I don't know. I guess I don't really have that image in my head. So
it's like a half man, half goat thing, right?
Well, okay. I've definitely seen that in other places. Okay.
Okay, and then like when we talk about like Michael Jordan, Brady, Wayne Gretzky, Tiger Woods, Aaron Rodgers, what do we call these guys?
Right, GOAT, right.
GOAT. So, I mean, I don't think that's by accident. I get it stands for greatest of all time, but why isn't it best of all time, Both.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think that they're using this, they're just using the symbolism to get us to use it constantly, like, like it's just part of the culture,
Right.
That's all I have for right now on these lists here. What else did I get? Oh, yeah. I had this written down a long time ago. I might as well say it. I forgot you were talking about the news and how they're getting us to walk in lockstep or something with the news, and I was like, yeah, well, that's how they get the sheep information with false information, right? That's where you get the word information, because it gets you in this formation based on the information. So anyway, what's this one? McDonald's opened up on April 15th. Their first hamburger was 15 cents. Okay. I think that's the end of all these little scribble notes for this place.
All right, DK. Well, I appreciate it as always. Very interesting.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Talk soon.
Yeah, have a good night. Take care. Okay. Yeah, we're in the after hours of the show now, and let me say thank you to the people who chipped in with the super chats tonight. I do appreciate it. It looks like we raised $50 during the stream. Not bad. Marco Valdez chipped in $5 and wrote, "When Zach says until next time, Truth Seeker, I respond, until next time, Truth Speaker." I appreciate that, Marco. And I appreciate the donation. Sig310 chipped in $1. Thank you. I imagine had everybody in the stream chipped in $1, we would have raised $600. Get down to Big Tech and let them know what's up. What's up, Itachi?
Not much, man. I had to let you know about this crazy kind of, 9/11 ritual that they did yesterday on 61 date numerology in the Reds game, 61 days before 9/11.
Okay.
So, yeah, the Yankees had 61 wins. It was 61 date numerology, 61 days before 9/11. And, the Reds suck. The Yankees are just unbeatable. They were up 3-0 in the ninth and ended up losing, huge payout. But if you look, it was actually 1,891 days since the Reds last beat them. And do you want to guess what triangular number that is?
1,891. I'm going to guess it's the 61st triangular number.
Exactly. Yep. So, I'm just more amazed each time I do this stuff and, see it play out. The pitcher's name, his name equals 61.
Maybe go looking more into Roger Maris, because he hit the record 61 home runs and 61 at the time for the Yankees. I wonder if somewhere he fits in with that riddle. So,
okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. And the last thing I had for you was, if you look from when the Georgia Guidestones were up until now, the Yankees, they got their 2,977th loss. And that's how many people died on 9/11, right?
Right.
Yeah. So just, insane stuff. And, yeah, thanks for taking my call. Just had to let you know about that.
All right. Interesting as always, Itachi. Appreciate it.
Of course. Peace, Zach.
Yeah,
see ya.
take care. That's the thing. I do need to get back to decoding sports, because a lot of the best stuff you'll ever find in Gematria in terms of ritual-wise with the numbers, it's in sports. It's going on every day. And you don't see it unless you're looking. So it's the invisible language happening all around us. Okay, Spelling Games chipped in $5 tonight. Appreciate that, Spelling Games. Shark Milton Hun with 2 donations tonight. Donated $10 and said, "Just felt like a super chat was needed. It's been a minute," and that's because the last super chat that was given was also by him, where he donated $20 and wrote, "A little makeup for all the Patreon cancellations, but I did get 2 good years in though. Salute to you, Zach, for all you've contributed. I appreciate that. And thanks for ever supporting the Patreon. You didn't have to donate anymore. Thank you." And Spelling Games also donated earlier in the stream. So they made 2 donations as well. $5 2 times. Thank you. And then LAF let it off tonight with $5. And, it was probably a couple months back I said, if you guys want to send Sweet Lady something to the P.O. box and say thanks for being Sweet Lady. One person took me up on that, and it was LAF. She sent a nice postcard to Sweet Lady, which she did appreciate. So thank you for that as well. And let me check in with the chat. If anybody has a comment right now that they want to get out there, something that needs to be heard, seen, I am looking at the chat right now. And it doesn't have to be a super chat. I will read the comments. But we'll go here a few more minutes to see if anybody has any final thoughts to close us out, and then we'll call it a night. Henry Boy 11 did do a super chat. He says, thank you for everything. Truth Seekers in Dallas. Appreciate that, Henry. I imagine he'll be out there with the group that's meeting up on the 30th. Very cool. Thank you. That's a good point, Itachi, about 10-8, and if anything does go down that day. Today, one of the headlines was that Obama doesn't like that somebody said something about Biden's health. So I will look into the dark clouds over Elberton. Absolutely. Appreciate that, Eloy. And by the way, have a wrench, too. Yeah, Dark Clouds Over Elberton. I'm going to look into that one and the video from 1980 of the unveiling. I've never seen that before. Jason D, indeed. Thank you so much for sending that. I appreciate that. Under the Silver Lake. I'm going to watch that one too. Somebody recommended it years ago, and it was, I'm sure I meant to see it. It's just so many things to keep straight. What was the riddle with Donald Trump knocking down the Trump Plaza? It was. I remember they've got the numbers 48 and 60 in there. That's what I remember about that. And I said, well, that's when we first started to look at that. We're like, that's interesting. 48 and 60. The next election's the 60th election, and if Biden didn't finish his term, Trump could potentially become number 48. Because Donald Trump equals 48 forward, 60 in reverse. And whatever, the ritual with that knockdown had both those numbers in it. God, what was I just looking? Was it today? They just did something the other day that encoded 60 in it. I think it's a little preview for the upcoming election. So I'd have to go back and look. But I remember it was 48 and 60. Orioles became 44 and 44 on the 193rd day of the year. Perfect. 44th run. That's the best record the Orioles have had in a long time. It's been a minute since the Orioles did anything. Cal Ripken. Well, I appreciate the compliment, Gematria 32. You know, Kabbalah's way bigger than Gematria, though. You know, I mean, there's a lot about Kabbalah that I really don't know. I mean, and I'm sure in time, as time goes on, we'll study more and more and figure it out. We really have the Gematria component of Kabbalah down. But yeah, there's a lot more that I could learn about Kabbalah itself. Yeah, I saw that worst inflation since 81. They've actually been posting that for a while. It goes with President Biden, Mr. 81. Ex-priest Mr. Rivera. I'm going to have to look that one up. I don't know who the ex-priest Mr. Rivera is right now. You know, the Hunter Biden thing that everyone's so fixated on, I'm sure it is an interesting story, but there's a reason they got that one out there. Nobody ever talks about all of the deaths. It's like everybody forgot about the death of Beau Biden. It's amazing. You think more people would go back and look at that. Beau Biden dead at 46. Not to mention he died 201 days before the Pope's birthday. But dead at 46 before his dad becomes number 46. And then most people don't even know about the death of his wife and daughter right after he became senator-elect. Yeah. Sweet Lady is also a Cancer. Her birthday is June 25th. We're both Cancers. So. All right, we'll leave it there for tonight. Also, thank you to the people who sent Cash Apps. And wow, as I look down, somebody just sent a $50 Cash App. Thank you very much, Mike. He says, take Sweet Lady out to dinner on me. Well, that you're going to put a big smile on Sweet Lady's face for that one, Mike, so I appreciate it. And again, shout out to Eloy, who sent in a Cash App tonight. Adam, who sent in a Cash App tonight. Sarah Sutherland, who sent in a Cash App tonight. And as I look at that, Eloy Garcia sent in 3 Cash Apps. So I appreciate that. And Uncommon Truth Shaman, I also appreciate your super chat. $5. All the best vibes. Keep up the great work. Will do. Indeed. Hey, I got to close out with a poll tonight. We got to close out with a poll. I'm going to put it up right now. I need a yes or no. Okay, so the $1 million question is up. Should be popping up on your screen any moment. I'm thinking about... It's almost my birthday, too. God, I'm going to be 39. Once I turn 39, all I got to think about is my last year of the 30s. But so far, the no is winning by a lot to start. But yeah, I am really close to finishing the book, but sometimes I think I just need I need like 48 straight hours of nothing but focus on the book, because I'm constantly being pulled out of it by phone calls and distractions on keeping up with the news and feeling like I got to make a video on this. But I've also decided that I'm not going to send the book to BookBaby until August 1st. And the reason I'm not going to send it to them until then is because I got to wait for the Ignatian year to finish. Again, we're in the time of the first ever Ignatian year. It began May 20th, 2021, and it ends on the last day of this month. And just in case they have a huge whopper for that day, I want to make sure I get it in there. And I think that makes sense, because I talk about the Ignatian year throughout the book. But yeah, that is the day I will send the book off to BookBaby. Technically, I made it to New York before I turned 39, because I went to Buffalo. But I didn't make it to New York City before I turned 39, so... Yeah. Yeah, I will be 39 for the big trip to New York City, but I was just in Buffalo, don't forget it. That is also in New York, so... Okay, so, the person who has Miss MC and Gold all in the name, she writes, I have a video on my local news channel saying the Uvalde shooter had an infinity for the numbers 4 and 7. Well, I'm going to have to find that. I appreciate that heads up. It's just like yesterday. They leaked the 4-minute and 7-second video clip of Uvalde, the police in the hallway, and then it starts at 11:28 local time, where 1128 is the 47th triangular number. Remember that Virgil Abloh? He died on 11/28 last year in a big 47 ritual. It was also a big 201 ritual. If I remember right, he got like promoted with Louis Vuitton on the 201st day of the year, something like that. Right now, that one's not in the book. It's probably not. I didn't put every last 201 in the book. I just tried to make it just flow all the way through so people could follow it all logically. But hold on. Uvalde shooter numbers 4 and 7. Let's see if that pulls up anything. All right, if you can find that story and email it to me or put it on Free to Find Truth, I wouldn't mind it for the What is 47 collection. Okay, and shout out to Jonathan in the chat. Jonathan, as soon as I'm done with my book, I will work on yours next, but make sure you get your book. I really think you need to narrow your book down to the top 50 hip-hop deaths. Okay. All right, we'll leave it there for now. Again, thank you to all the mods. Make sure you're supporting all the good people in the community doing the work, including the Kayla Decode talkers of the world. Golden ID codes. Let me see if anything's coming up when I do a YouTube search for Golden ID codes, because if not, I think I'd like to see that in the future. You're always having really great comments. I think you would make... Let's see. This channel... You know what? I'm subscribing to your channel in anticipation of the first video. So I'm subscribed to Golden ID Codes. I know the video's coming. He's always leaving great comments. Honestly, I think you should make a video on all the research you've done on 9/11 and the history of, Manhattan's founding or the day it was discovered being September 11th and all that stuff that you've left in the comments, I think it would make, great video material. So golden ID codes, if you guys read comments, anytime you see his name down below, make sure you read what he wrote because it's always something brilliant. And again, he spotted the thing about the man who coined the term utopia dying on July 6th in history. So all right, you guys voted for me to not stop on making videos, but I really do need to get the book. It's close. It'll be done, but I'm not turning it until August 1st. All right. That's it for tonight, Truth Seeker. And thank you again to everyone who hit the like and the share. Thank you to all the people who made a donation. Thank you to everyone who supports the Patreon. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow. Until next time, Truth Seeker.